started. Why don't we do a quick recap? And I'm guessing that Reed's going to show up. And yeah, we'll decide what we want to do from there.
Yeah. Okay. So, I am not going to bother reading the long form journal that I posted because those are always too long. The TLDR version. Our last session began in combat with the cultist forces, and as we were wrapping up the first wave of defenders, some reinforcements arrived, including a powerful mage with a creepy twilight aura that was protecting his allies. The battle was really difficult, but we did eventually come out on top. We had a lot of fun throwing people in and out of magical auras. Um, After the fighting wraps up, we are relieved to find that the reinforcements did not show up because they exterminated the Measle allies, just probably prioritized us because we had more powerful casters. And the remains of the Measle forces seem to be more or less happy with our performance against the cult and seems to feel that our bargain has been fulfilled. And we proceed to go through the camp, trying to sort of learn what we can and loot the camp and roll the bodies. We find the cage full of prisoners, most of whom are measles, and one of whom is this Shadowkai named Civil. After a cursory amount of hesitation, we let him out, and he expresses that he feels himself to be in our life debt and seems to be looking for ways to help us or do
Well,
things for us.
he
But
said that he owes you one. I don't know about life
yeah,
debt.
oh, sorry. Well, I mean, he used the word I owe you my life," but I don't think
Yeah,
that he's intending to dedicate his life to us or anything. Just that
yeah.
he wants to
It's
do us a
not.
big
It's not a
favor.
Chewbacca situation.
No, 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 no. Sorry.
It's more just
Uh,
he owes
and he's
you.
a little bit cagey about something, or we get that sense. And after some social pressure from Corvin, he caves and reveals that he did, in fact, know the identity of that Twilight Mage and identifies him as Lyre, a powerful leader among the cult known as the Children of Shadow. A little more conversation reveals that that cult is, in fact, fully aligned with at least one Shadowlord. And moreover, at least as far as Civil knows, most of the residents of the Shadowfell at large believe that the Shadow Lords are still imprisoned in bindings on Gaian, and seems quite displeased and afraid to learn that that is not the case from us, and suggests this is the reason why the cult is becoming more active, since the cult seems to be aligned with them. As we loot the camp, Civil brings us a as yet unidentified magical cloak from Lyre, and we find an abundance of mundane expedition supplies, some other components for various kinds of spells, and we are when the tribe expresses, or when Sim expresses that the thing we mostly want is to buy ourselves enough time to complete our mission, and we need a place to rest under a protection of a Raven Queen relic. Civil suggests that the nearby city of Havisgard is a good place to go. There's some hesitation about going there, since he also admits that outsiders are not likely to receive a particularly kind welcome, and we are bringing really terrible news. And we were hesitating over whether Corvin could offer us a different option for being protected. But before we settled that, Corvin graciously offers to perform a divination to find where Shock is. And I think he sifts some of the arcane components from the camp to cast the divination, and we receive the answer that he is far off in the wild, languishing, imprisoned by your enemies. And at that, obviously, we're all relieved that he's alive and disappointed that we're apparently going to have to go through another serious fight to get him out of there. And Civil chimes in that he has some kind of insight that will help us interpret this and provide a location, but he did not have a chance to reveal things because that's where session broke.
Yeah. So he'll say that there is a northern. Uh, there is a northern. Um, what would I call it? Northern keep, I guess, that is an old empire keep that was taken over by the cultists long ago. It's got a lot of defense or defending cultists as well as a horrible shadow. I think it's called a night walker that
Uh,
walks the plains nearby. So there's a lot of danger to going there, and he would suggest that could be where your friend is if he was taken nearby here. That's most likely where they would have brought him. I don't know where else the cultists might be keeping prisoners. Some long-term jail cell.
Friend Corvin, you are native to this region. Do you know anything of this fortress?
Do I?
So you have heard of it, but you've never been there. It's a fort that was sort of abandoned a while ago because of a lot of attacks from surrounding like necrotic undead and creatures, and there was just no use, or there was no reason for the Empire to hold it anymore because there were no longer wars happening within the northern mountain ranges. So they pulled their people back and sort of sealed it, and rumor has it that the cultists had taken it over, much to the chagrin of the Empire.
I've never been there. It was abandoned long ago, overrun by creatures of the Shadowfell.
Yeah,
Yeah,
as he says, and dangerous.
do you have knowledge nature, Corvin?
Let me see. I don't think so. I think I have history and everything else. I don't know if I have nature.
Okay. Do you have Arcana?
Double check. Yes.
So Arcana or nature might tell you something.
I have... Oh, those just Arcana. Yep. Actually, no I don't. I have Survival, but no. I dropped all my Arcana.
Alright. So yeah, you've heard rumor that there's some kind of terror that inhabits the plains to the north, and no one goes there because of it. Some kind of death creature, but you don't know much about it.
And formerly Fortress of Empire. It is my understanding that larger settlements of Empire tend to be formed around relics. Did this fortress have one such?
I have Arcana strength.
Sure, I can do a Arcana check for you. Sybil says, I think there is a relic there. I think the fortress is protected by a relic.
So if we wish to be truly aggressive, we could seek protection in the arms of our enemies. But maybe time is not ripe for such bold moves yet. And friend Corvin, you suggested perhaps that there might be other places to find protection other than city. I find myself a bit reluctant to approach if we have other options.
So Anna Kate would know that a Nightwalker is an extremely powerful, almost demigod-like level creature, far beyond the abilities of most to fight. Generally created when some magic powerhouse, like a wizard, high-level wizard, is pulled into the negative energy plane. It leaves behind a kind of a weird clone of the life force of the being known as a Nightwalker.
Not very fun.
Not very bright, but all it really does is seek to pull life force into itself, like suck the life force out of the living that it finds.
Cool.
Guess that the fortress probably has some protective magics to keep it from being attacked by the Nightwalker.
Well, this is good to know.
So Sybil would say, I think I might be able to get you into the city quietly. I would have to consult with my people, though, to make sure they're okay with me bringing you in. Although if I tell you or tell them what you told me, they would probably be okay with it. This information that the Shadowlord has been released, it's something they want to know, and they will be grateful that you freed me and brought them the information.
Who are your people?
He says, I am part of an organization known as the Midnight Pyre. He says, I don't know if it means anything to you being a... Did you tell him anything about yourself? I don't remember.
No.
So he would say, being from Gaian, I don't think our organization would mean much to you, but we have tasked ourselves with keeping an eye on dangerous groups like the Children of Shadow, as well as keeping our eye on the political squabbles of the Vidian Empire.
So the Empire itself is not aligned with the Shadowlords, then?
No, absolutely not. The Children of Shadow are considered heretics and terrorists. They are captured and harshly interrogated if they are caught.
That is well.
It says, although people from some of the organizations we deal with might be exposed to the same fate should they be captured or interrogated. But no, most people in the Shadowfell are not friends of the Children of Shadow.
That is well, and not entirely what I expected from. But then again, I have only spoken to fanatical cultists, so I do not know much of this place. Friends, what do you think? It seems that we will have to approach the city sometime if we want any support or assistance in approaching this fortress. We could try to do it alone, or with our erstwhile allies, but...
If I may be so bold, Sybil says, the fortress is no easy undertaking. If you're going to approach it, you should have a plan and knowledge of how you're getting in, both of which can be obtained from our contacts within the city. He says, especially if you want to try to get past the Nightwalker with your lives.
Yes, that would be preferable.
But this is just my suggestion. I'm a little bit curious as to how Corvin has survived out in the wilderness. I'm guessing either using potions or some old buried relic that no one knows about. He kind of looks at you, Corvin, with a little bit of a side eye.
I have my ways.
Indeed. But if you want allies and information, I think New Havasgard is a better bet. Assuming that you all will trust me in my organization.
Do I know anything of the organization from when I used to work, or they newer work?
Do you have history?
No.
Alright, then just from your...
I have religion. That's...
So just from your...
No, not history.
Just from your background of what you used to do, give me an intelligence check. You might remember something.
Okay.
Nah.
Yeah.
It sounds familiar, though you had interacted with a lot of different political groups. It certainly does sound familiar, though. So you think it might be a group of some significance.
How far away is the city?
He says it's about a day and a half, depending on our navigators. I believe I can find a way there, but if any of you are skilled with trailblazing, I invite you to take the lead through the wilderness.
Well,
I know these lands well.
He looks to Corbin and nods.
unless anybody is opposed, it seems that even if we are to find enemies in the city, we might find allies as well, and that might be worthwhile trade at this point.
So, how big is the city?
The city is fairly large. There's a enormous temple to the Raven Queen in the middle, and there are several basically there's kind of like a poor district. There's kind of like more of a middle class, and there's more of the what would the word be? Not necessarily nobility, but the higher ups within the state. Because, like I said, it's kind of almost like a socialist type setup. So
Well,
there's kind of the poor areas, the more middle class, and then I don't know if it's aristocracy, but kind of just higher ups within the church and the government have more land that they that they oversee.
Well, Corvin, I hear from Civil that you have acquired the reputation as the Hermit. Will you come out of solitude to travel with us for a time?
I'll gladly lead you to the city.
But not into it?
I think my time in the city is past. I can have my friend follow you, and they can let me know.
So,
And all.
Civil would look to Corbin and say, I don't know much about you, friend, but there are some stories of your exploits within the wild. May I ask, where do you come from? I would assume you at some point lived in New Havisgard to make your home so close to it.
I did. Long ago.
He says, were you a guard? Freelance mercenary of some sort? Part of the church? He says, you do seem to have quite the connection to ravens and necrotic energies, which almost makes me wonder if you were some sort of worshipper of the Raven Queen. Maybe someone higher up.
I worked for I've always done what I do for the Raven Queen.
He nods. He says, well, you are welcomed. You are welcome to enter our areas as long as you take an oath of secrecy, not to reveal how it is you came, or not to reveal its location to anyone.
From the theocracy?
He says, well, definitely not to the theocracy, not to the church, and just in general. We prefer that anyone who enters the tunnels below swear an oath to not reveal their location.
Will you and your compatriots swear a similar oath?
To not reveal what?
Me.
He says not reveal your identity to anyone down there?
Yes.
Shrugs. He says, I don't know much about who you are other than the rumors, but certainly I don't have to tell anyone where you come from.
Well.
Because I will keep that between us and just identify you as a member of this, what did you say your name was?
We have been called the tribe for a long time now.
Says, yeah, so I will just identify you as a member of this tribe. If that works for you.
We will be glad to have you.
It may, for the time being.
Alright, so is that the decision then? The group's traveling to New Havisgard?
Yeah, speak now or forever hold your peace. Oh, although I would probably take the time to finish identifying that cloak.
Yeah, I'm good with that plan.
Alright. Who are you asking, Reed?
Oh, I can, I'll ask Sybil.
So
just,
as you're walking.
Yeah, is it known for any particular thing?
This is,
Besides being a huge, having a huge temple to the Raven Queen in it?
he says, well, the borderlands of New Havisgard have a lot of fishing in the dark lake next to it. There are some mines where we draw metals from the earth. There's some trading going on with some... There's hunters that deal in the area with things they've procured from the forests around New Havisgard. And farming mostly. Farming and mining are the two biggest parts of it. Being on the northern border, it used to be a lot more a kind of an area for defense, as we had wars with several groups within the mountains in the past. Though recently none of that has happened, so a lot of the old um, defenses that were built up are still there, but no longer in use. They're maintained, but they're not really necessary. But it has made the city quite hard to breach if you don't know how. He smiles. Give me up to 2 survival checks.
Shouldn't be me.
All right, I'll give
I
one, but
can do it. Let's see.
Yeah, cool.
May I guidance?
I think this is going to be a longer, extended thing, so probably not.
Okay, so yeah, it's gonna take several hours, so guidance probably wouldn't
Okay.
help you much. But 17 is still pretty good.
17.
All right, so you're making your way through the plains. What time was it? Oh, it was still pretty early. So as you're traveling, he would probably talk a little bit more about the city. Apparently, he's fairly new to it. He's only been here about 2 years. He comes from more the middle parts of the empire, but there's been a lot of cultist activity in several different areas, one of which has been New Havasgard. So he was sent up here to kind of see what's been going on. And kind of just help the Midnight Pyre keep an eye on things, as well as there's been a couple of factions within the church that have been getting more political that they've been keeping an eye on, which probably will not concern you much.
Do we have any identify results off of Flyray's cloak?
Oh, did you want to do that before you left?
Yeah, ideally.
Oh, and actually,
Carrying unidentified
I don't
magic
think,
items around gives me the heebie-jeebies.
yeah, I don't think the measles spoke to you yet, because they were. Did they give you anything?
We got pale coin from them.
Oh, that's
was
right. They
noted.
gave you the coin.
Yeah.
Okay, good. That's what I was wondering, if they gave you the coin. I didn't see
Yep.
it in my notes here.
Yeah, we got it.
Okay.
It was a bag of holding promptly with our other stash of pale coin.
Make a note of that just so I don't forget.
we don't have a lot though, right? I
No,
mean,
we got like 300 from the measle, and like I think order of dozens were in the bag before.
right.
So like we've got some. We're not impoverished, but we're not going to be throwing our weight around coin-wise.
You got the cloak, which was okay. So you're identifying the cloak. The cloak was a cloak of protection.
This is useful for almost anybody. I would be happy to wear it, but perhaps there is a better candidate among the tribe.
I think I'm full up on my slots.
Attunement items.
Yeah, I am too.
Oh, okay. I would have suggested the monk for it, but okay, cool. Well, if no one objects, I will wear it for now, and we can reapportion as needed.
Yeah, I think the only other person was Klaus, but he's kind of new anyway.
Be happy to give it to a frontliner, but he's not here, so...
Yeah. So at least for now, I'm guessing Sim is gonna don
Yep.
it.
Snuggle up in it and go to sleep.
Well, hopefully not here. You're in the middle of the plain still.
Yeah.
Alright, so the group is kind of entering the forest. It's getting late in the day. I need a D20 roll, as you are going through dangerous territory.
Uh-oh.
Okay. Let me roll something for no particular reason. So Sybil would look to you, Corvin, and ask, how long have you been living in the wilds, if you don't mind me asking, as he pushes some branches aside, moving under a tree.
How long have you heard stories? It's been a while.
Says, well, I originally heard of you around the time I first got here. I was just asking about the outer areas, and the forest was mentioned along with the names of some trappers and you, which no one knew much about you, but there were rumors that you had served someone powerful. He kind of looks at you for a moment as if sizing you up a bit for your reaction.
From the way I have seen him fight, if he serves anyone, it would have to be somebody powerful.
Indeed. Is there any truth to that?
Well, how high up in the hierarchy do you think the Raven Queen is?
One of these.
He says, well, if you... I assume many of us serve the Raven Queen, but I assume you had labored under someone more specific in her employ.
There was a time I was given orders, yes.
He nods. Says that would make sense. And he looks to Sim and he says, you seem like you might be some kind of commander. Are you someone of... Are you... Well, he says, are you someone of note from the world of Gaian?
Hardly. There is two ways to become a powerful person, you know, and one is to climb high in the ranks of society, and the other is to find ways to work outside it. I have definitely done more of the latter, and I gather Corvin perhaps went from doing one to the other, which is never an easy thing. I have goals, and I have recently come to the decision that I cannot accomplish them alone, so I have given thought to how to acquire allies, perhaps. But that is not the same as belonging in any particular place in the world. And Commander is not a title that I like the feel of.
He moves some branches aside. He says, well, someone willing to go to another world to save a comrade, that is someone that is impressive. He says, you've taken quite a personal risk to come into the Shadowfell. So I imagine you are a person of some honor.
There is little to be gained if you are not willing to risk your life, and I may value my life rather less than some.
He nods. He probably gives Reed a quick look, but doesn't say anything. Insight might tell you something.
Can I do an insight? I'm curious if this is friendly small talk or if this is professional information gathering.
Why not both?
Yeah, I was about to say probably a little bit of both.
Okay, I just want to...
Reed and Corvin, you would both get the feeling that when he looks at Reed, he might be a little uncomfortable, almost like maybe he senses something about Reed. It's hard to say exactly what, but you've noticed a couple of times him like kind of look over at Reed and get just maybe a weird look, and also he hasn't spoken to Reed much.
Well, he did claim to have the ability to detect magical auras. That's how he brought us the cloak. So I'm not sure what he's getting off of Reed, but...
Mm-hmm. But yeah, that would be Reed and Corvin that sense that. Yep. Sim probably wouldn't have noticed.
Yep.
Alright, so he leads you for most of the day through the woods. It's starting to get late. He says, we found some good paths, and he gives Corvin a nod of respect. It got us here a lot quicker than I thought it would. So we will be approaching the outer city wall. I'm going to take a bit of a wide berth around because I don't want them to see us. Only
How
because
secret is your secret society? Will we have to be blindfolded and hooded as we are led through secret tunnels? Will there be several whispered passwords and countersigns?
he says we will blindfold you before going through the tunnels. But once we're through, then you will be free to see and look around. I hope this is acceptable.
Acceptable if we are going to trust you so far. I suppose. I should mention, though, that it is not precisely possible to blindfold my familiar. If you prefer, I do not wish to dismiss her, but I can keep her somewhere where she cannot see, if you like.
As I appreciate the honesty, and yes, it would be preferred if you keep any type of beings like that out of the tunnels. He says the area is guarded from scrying, but things like familiars probably would be able to see still. So, go ahead.
Sim just digs through his bag for a minute and just finds finds a big sheet of paper and quickly folds a little box and puts the spider in it and says, "Here, you can hold her while we go through tunnels. Just be careful, do not crush, please."
He nods and puts the piece of paper, I'll say, in his pocket, carefully, or one of his pouches, probably. So you would see a large waterfall way off in the distance. You can, even as far away as it is, you can hear the huge amounts of water crashing down on the cliffs below. You are taken to a point in the woods where he says, "All right, wait here. I must go grab one of my allies along with some hoods to cover your faces." And he is going to head off into the trees. Do you all want to do anything?
If we are to be ambushed and slain horribly, it is going to happen soon, my friends. I am inclined to be trusting, but perhaps is mistake.
If we start to hear or see more than one or two people coming back, I think that's when we start to take a aggressive stance.
Well, are any of us still injured enough to be worth noting? Perhaps I should heal up if we are worried.
Did we take a long rest, or?
We haven't since the fight. I think we came straight here.
Okay.
Alright, do you want to try to rest? Or
I guess.
shall
Did he say how long he would take to be back? Because it's gonna take some time.
No,
we might as well try
but
to
you would guess it would be. You'd guess it's not going to be too long.
Okay.
All right.
Well,
so I'll just try to pass time.
Am I still injured?
Uh,
Sorry.
Let's see. Anna-Kate, you are at 54 of 63. So you're looking pretty good. I think you, at least according to your sheet here, I think you spent some hit dice, it looks like.
Yeah, after I got knocked unconscious, a lot of people healed me. So.
Yeah. Alright, so about 10 minutes pass. It's really late now. It's really dark. Like, you can barely see. The Shadowfell, I mean, as you've seen at nighttime, just is almost pitch black. Do you want to light up torches or anything?
I mean, I've got Devil's Sight, so I'm fine.
Yeah, you can see normally. Or like a light spell.
Yeah. I will certainly put up a light if anyone wants one. But
I could just rely on the goggles at night. Just won't be able to see very far.
Okay. So is anyone using a light source? Do you all have dark vision of some kind?
I think we all have dark vision now.
Okay. So yeah, it's very dark. You would see after about 10 minutes, your friend Civil is you see him kind of come into view at the edge of your dark vision as you see some trees moving and shrubs and bushes. And there is a robed figure with him who is kind of keeping an eye out, looking around, looks a little nervous. The two of them walk up to the group and he says, there you all are. Alright, so apparently the gates are shut for the evening, but I've been sent a gatekeeper to get us inside, and this will be a lot less uncomfortable. The gatekeeper gives you a solemn nod. He says, if you are all ready, I shall bring you into the tunnels. He says,
Lead the way.
You must agree to keep your weapons and spells away and not to draw either unless you are defending yourselves. Any hostile acts will be viewed very poorly by the Silent Circle.
Silent Circle, they are those who govern the city?
So, Corvin, you know that the Silent Circle are a fairly powerful local thief guild. They don't at all govern the city. In fact, their members are considered, again, heretics, or I don't know if they'd be heretics, but they'd be like, they're criminals, basically. And they operate outside the law. Kind of capitalist in a socialist empire. All their stuff happens underground.
The local thieves.
Yeah, you've hunted some of them back when you were part of the church because you were enemies, but at this point, being a lone party, you're not really too concerned with them.
Criminals. Not the sort we will have objections to dealing with, I hope.
So the gatekeeper looks at Corvin suddenly and says, "Who's this?" And Sybil says, this is just one of the members of the tribe. He is actually one of our people, but he has spent many, many years within the world of Gaian. Isn't that not right?" And he looks at you, kind of realizes he shouldn't say your name, doesn't say anything.
I nod from the inside of my deep cowl.
He gives you a suspicious look. He says, "I don't know why, but he looks a bit familiar." Well, in any case, as long as you have agreed to the terms, please stand close, as I will be using teleportation to get us inside.
Interesting. Always happy to observe magic in use.
He looks at the group of you. He says, 1, 2, 3. He starts counting. How many of there are you? There's 8, right?
Yeah, it's the whole party plus Melody and...
Oh, so he can actually only bring 7.
Oops.
As he says this, Sybil says, I can probably find my own way in. I'll meet you all down there. He says, I can go in through the city. I'm not someone who's wanted by the church. And the gatekeeper nods and he says, "All right, everyone else, come close. Sybil, we shall speak later." And he gives him a respectful bow as he makes his way towards the large stone gate in the distance. So the wizard elf begins to chant as arcane energies flare up around him, yelling the teleportation world. There is an explosion of power as the world almost seems to fall away around you, and you are now standing in a new place, a large lit room underground inside of an arcane circle of some sort with a cage around you. Several people outside the cage, or several Shadowkai outside the cage, are reading books, looking kind of bored. They do look up as you teleport in, though, quickly seeing who it is, and they kind of go back to reading.
I would dearly love to learn to do that.
And he says, takes a lot of practice, my friend. It pays well, though. Anyone who can use magic such as this will often be well rewarded for their services.
That perhaps gives me an idea, but I am not much for study. We'll see.
He says, I was told that you were looking to speak with some of the Midnight Pyre representatives as he produces a key and unlocks the door to the cage, leading you out.
Indeed. Hopefully with civil to accompany, since I do not think that our entreaty will go so well without him to vouch for us.
He nods. He says, well, I believe Civil is on his way back down. So, if you need him, why don't I take you to the marketplace for now? Maybe you could have a look around while you wait for him to meet up with you. He would have to pass through the market to get to his people anyway, so you'll probably bump into him.
Fair enough. That sounds well.
So he starts leading you down some hallways, through a couple of doors into kind of a larger underground, almost cave-like area, but a little bit more carved out than an actual cave. Maybe some elements of a natural cave still left in place, almost as kind of decoration. You would see lots of what look like stalls around with people selling various wares, mostly Shadowkai, but other races as well. And yeah, it looks like some kind of underground marketplace. So basically, you can buy pretty much anything here at book price for pale coin. So I don't know if you want to stock up on anything.
I'm not really here to buy, but anyone else, please, avail yourselves.
Yeah, does anyone want to do anything? If not, I'll just pass some time until something happens.
Can we find like a place to sit and just take a short rest, like a cafe or something?
Yes, so there are places selling foods. Actually, it looks like there is ventilation in here, and there are some people cooking. Some really flavorful smells coming from several of the stalls. If you want to take a seat and get some food.
Yeah.
Okay. So you sit down. I'm not going to do prices, but we can just kind of do it by what your lifestyle upkeep is. But
Okay.
I'd say the servants kind of come over, get you some menus. There's some pieces of paper with writing on them as to what they serve. I'm guessing you're going to get some wines and some kind of dinner, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Any discussions going on? Or anyone doing anything in the market besides this while you wait?
Laying low.
Just laying low. Alright, so some time passes, about half an hour. You can probably be considered resting. But at about half an hour, you would see Sybil come through the main gate of the marketplace, the other side, because you kind of came in through the teleport side. He comes in through the front gate. He is looking around. He actually does notice you, and waves as he approaches. He says, getting some food, I see.
There is not much to eat out there, and trail rations grow boring after a while.
He says, well, you have had quite the battle and journey, he says, lowering his voice a bit. He says, I couldn't blame you for some relaxation. I guess I could get something too. If you want to finish eating, we can do that, then I can take you to see my superiors. Or we can go now. I don't know what sort of hurry you're in.
How long have we got left on the short rest? If we got one, then I'm ready to go.
It's about 45 minutes, so you got another 15 till you short rest.
I'll kick back and relax then.
Alright, so you eat a bunch, drink some more wine, past the 15 minutes, so if you want, you can spend a short rest now and benefit from it.
Alright,
It's probably about 9 o'clock.
everyone grab your 9 temporary hit points. Everyone in the party, anyway. I'm number limited, so none for Civil.
Well, Sybil didn't get the teleport, he didn't get the temp HP. He sees how it is.
Well, Melody gets left out of the HP too, which is unfortunate, but I'd rather protect the fighters.
Melody seems happy. I haven't roleplayed her much, but she's been chatting away with the rest of you. Definitely her spirits are up, finding out that Shock is still alive. That's probably one of her biggest fears. So you finish resting, you get your temp HP and hit dice if you want it.
Oh hey, that gets me exactly to max. Perfect.
There is a band playing a very jaunty tune. You see someone playing the drums, someone playing the flute. People are giving him pale coin, his group, and the market seems lively. Sybil would motion for you to follow him if you're all done eating.
Is anyone else down hit points, actually? I probably would have spent that healing otherwise, but
I'm good now.
cool.
Alright, so he leads you through the marketplace. You get to the other side where there's some doors, which lead back into another set of hallways. History might actually tell you something here.
Sorry, that was a misclick.
Simcash scatter.
No.
Marketplace starts drawing weaponry. But yeah, does anyone have history?
Nope.
I do not.
Okay. So yeah, it's definitely a unique architecture, whatever area you're in. It looks different from both the market and the first place where you teleported into. He would lead you to a large set of double doors and say, if you all could, please wait here. I need to go speak with my superiors.
All right.
It shouldn't be long. And he doesn't actually go through the large double door, he continues down the hallway.
Cool.
Does anyone want to do anything, or shall I pass some more time?
Possibly. Hang on just a moment. I gotta check something here. Oop. Yeah. So,
Oh, and he gives you back your familiar, by the way.
that's the thing that I was gonna check. If not, I was gonna try to eavesdrop, but that's fine.
Yeah, he would hand you back the piece of paper at this point.
Okay. I will unfold it and let the spider... I'll offer the spider to Melody if she's willing to have it crawling around on her.
She shrugs and puts her finger out, smiling.
She will protect you. Alright, in that case I'm good.
I got no problem with spiders. They eat the bugs that would bite me. Unless the spiders bite me, but it sounds like yours is well behaved.
Indeed, she's not precisely spider, so...
Alright, so he is gone a good amount of time, about half an hour to be precise. Do you want to keep waiting, or do you want to do anything?
Can I look around? Does it seem like somebody's spying on us or following us?
Give me a perception check. You've just been standing in front of this large double door, which no one has come through. This hallway seems pretty empty wherever you are in these halls. 16. No, it doesn't seem like anyone's spying on you.
Alright.
Realistically, I'd be trying to make small talk with Corvin and Klaus to get to know the new members better, but I don't necessarily want to take up a lot of table time with that. Can do that in the role-playing chat section if need be.
There's nothing wrong with some roleplay if you want to do it. We are down some people this week, so more heavily roleplay focused session isn't a bad thing.
Fair enough. Filler episode.
Yeah. So yeah, sure, you're speaking to Corvin and Klaus a bit. Klaus has been fairly quiet. He does give Reed a curious look every now and then, but he hasn't said much, other than the fact that he seems to know Reed from somewhere, but he's been a little bit tight-lipped about it, which might be a little curious.
Yeah.
Because Reed, you have no idea who Klaus is.
Right. But he's from the Feywild, right?
That's what he mentioned, yeah.
And has he been in Gaia at all, or?
You ask him that?
Yeah.
He says, I've been to Gaia in a bit, not much. Most of my time has been spent within the Fae. I've been working for one of the Sealy courts, and actually, when he mentions the name, you probably are a bit familiar with them from what you remember of the Feywild factions. You think they were actually an ally of your court.
Okay.
So as he's saying this, he kind of smiles, and you hear a bunch of footsteps running down the hall in your direction.
Running.
Yeah. This hallway, by the way, is about 15 feet wide. Pretty big hallway.
All right.
You would see a bunch of Shadowkai, all of them armed, but none of them with weapons drawn, just kind of running in your direction.
I'll step aside. So
there
we're ready
are,
to let them pass.
yeah, there are about 10 of them. They would quickly run past you, eyeing you for about a moment, and then just continuing onward, as if they have someplace important to be. A little while later, you see Civil again come walking down the hallway, with a bit of a concerned look on his face. But as he sees the group, he smiles. He says, alas, my friends, I apologize. The leaders of my group have taken in for the evening. It's quite late, so they will speak with you tomorrow. But they have offered you accommodations on the house by our group, and he kind of motions to the double door, staying in luxury within the halls.
I'm gonna roll insight here.
Okay.
Just want to know if he's actually trying to conceal anything.
He seems honest. You get the feeling that he is worried about something for sure, which he's trying to hide. You don't sense that he's being dishonest or trying to hide anything per se, just that he's a little bit nervous about something.
Okay.
We ask him, like, what were all those Shadowkai running past? Where were they going?
He says, well, with the revelations of the Shadowlords returning to the Shadowfell, we are sending out some messengers, as there could be possible danger within the city. So we're letting our allies know, and adding some strength to some of the western parts of the city, at least within the underground. He says, but nothing for you all to be worried about. It's more internal politics and things like that.
Is there a particular reason to think stirring of Shadowlord brings threat from west as opposed to from anywhere else?
He says, no, just we don't have as strong of forces on the other side of the city. And if one of our cells were to be attacked by the cultists, then they might be underpowered. So we're moving some people around. We're also sending some messengers out. He says we have to get word to the southern cities about what has happened, as the whole empire could be in danger.
Well, in that case, I suppose I am not opposed to a night's rest. The time spent will be worth its while if we can convince anyone here that countering cultist forces may make assaulting fortress worthwhile.
He says, well, that will be a tall order, but I'm sure we can at least send you some information and possibly allies. So he knocks on the door. A few moments later, you hear a click, and the double door opens. Several well-dressed Shadowkai servants are there. They kind of bow to you, welcoming you into what looks like some kind of underground, almost like a hotel area. There's a front desk to sign in, which Sybil sort of gives a bunch of coin to them and gets some keys for all of you. And you see like an open area filled with like hot tubs and pools that looks like you might go there to swim and soak and bathe. The servant says, if you are ready to go to bed, I can show you to your rooms. Otherwise, you're welcome to use our bathing chambers.
I do not know when I have last taken bath. He
says, oh, don't worry, We are quite skilled in cleaning and sponging off all of our guests. Only the best.
I have also never been attended to by a servant in a bath. Should I grow accustomed to such things?
Says, oh, it doesn't hurt to treat yourself every now and then. Do you prefer a male or female washer?
To be honest, I do not care so long as they can get me clean.
Ah, well, then we have quite a few who can do that. Would you like a bath, as I said, or would you like to go to bed?
I do not need so much sleep, and I have not a bath, a true luxury. If I
Okay.
do not partake now, when will I?
Go ahead.
Anna Kate would like to bathe, but would not want a servant.
Okay, so she's just gonna. So,
Yeah.
As a lady Shatterkai comes over, she just kind of waves her away.
Yeah, she's like, it would be strange for me. I can take care of it myself, thank you.
Okay.
Also, I am arriving home, so if you'll give me like 10 minutes, I can hopefully be on. Roll
Alright.
20.
So why don't we take like a quick break, maybe, and
Okay.
we'll say you guys are going in the baths, and maybe we can pick it up from there, and yeah, we can pass the night. And
Okay.
then Anna Kate can get situated.
Yep.
All right, so I'll be back.
Thanks.
Cool.
Alright, I'm back.
Sorry about that. I'm back.
Okay.
Oh, it's still.
I'm back as well.
Yeah.
Do we have a tray?
Looks like he's still working on getting switched over from his car mobile setup to his desk.
Okay.
Always takes a little longer to get back in the door than you think.
Yeah, this is true. It's still so hot here.
Yeah, I have air conditioning installers coming tomorrow. So,
Where do you live?
gonna be Seattle.
Oh, so you're right near me. Yeah, it's been... Well, I'm up in Everett.
Same, pretty much the same climate-wise. You know, any given day will look different, but any given year will look pretty much exactly the same.
Yeah, this has been a hot year. I don't remember it being this bad last year. I feel like...
Oh, it's definitely. Well, so last year was like fine, except for that week where we had the heat dome.
Yeah, so there was like one, I think, yeah, like one hot week, but then it was pretty temperate. But this year, I
Yeah.
feel like it's been a month of just like on and off heat.
No, I've been looking at the climatology forecasts, and at this point, especially on the Pacific Northwest, it is correct to assume that every summer is going to be the hottest summer you've ever had for the next like 15 years.
Oh, great.
With some exceptions, like it's going to actually get steadily hotter. It's climate change.
Yeah, well,
So, like, there might be some anomalies. Like, this summer was unusually cold. So, like, actually, I think last summer... But I don't know. But anyway, it's like every summer is just going to get hotter and hotter.
yeah, not ideal. We do have an AC
Yeah.
in our house, though, luckily. I was saying maybe we should get one installed in our bedroom, one of those wall units.
Yep, the heat pumps, they're pretty efficient.
Yeah, is that what it is? A heat pump where they like just cut a hole in the wall and put an AC right in it?
That could be a few different things. Sometimes they'll... But yeah, I think most small air conditioners are a heat pump of some kind.
Yeah, because we have a like central AC.
Oh
like,
yeah, if you
forced
have
air.
central, yeah.
But it's not. At least my wife doesn't think it gets it cool enough. I think it's fine, but she wants like Arctic cool.
That's hard to get with central, just because it's just hard to get air to circulate well enough.
Yeah, exactly. It more just
Unless your
makes
house is really designed for it and your ductwork was laid out really well with really good air returns, central is just gonna make it like pretty nice.
Yeah, no, like I'm fine with it, but
Yeah.
she's always like, oh, it's not enough. So
Yeah.
you might get that.
Yeah.
So is there any interactions? Is Corvin taking a bath?
Oh, that's
Yes, but not. Do not need a bather.
All right, so you and Kate are kind of shooing away your bathers.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
What about Reed? Did all the bathers come over to Reed to help him bathe?
Yeah, I'll take a bather.
I'll take your guys' bathers.
Yep.
Okay. So yeah, you're all relaxing, getting a nice wash. There aren't actually, well, there's no one else there right now. However, while you are relaxing and bathing in the water, an elf walks in from from the room area, like from where the rooms are for the hotel.
Elf like we're used to, or a shadow elf?
Oh, Shadow Elf, sorry.
Okay, just
Shadow
checking.
Kai, yeah. He does have something odd about him, though. Most Shadow Kai have gray or white hair. He has striking reddish colored hair. So he definitely stands out a bit. He kind of looks around, surprised anyone is in here, and walks over to, I'll say, like, one of the tubs near Reed and takes a seat. He has basically, he has kind of like bathing trunks on and he relaxes in the water. He would look over at Reed as you're kind of finishing up your bathing, and he says, I didn't know anyone else was in here tonight, let alone people from outside the Shadowfell.
Well, if you dislike surprises, you can pretend we are not here, and perhaps we will not have been here.
He says, yeah, I'm not one to pretend generally. Kinreth at your service. And he kind of leans out of the tub and goes to shake, I guess, Sim's hand. The tubs are kind of close together, so.
Yep. I am called Sim. It is not what I expected to find here in Shadowfell.
He says, what do you mean?
Well, I mean, it's a different place. We're very far from home. So I guess we're all on our guard and we think maybe it's a little dangerous.
I think that is the primary thing. Shadowfell is dangerous to residents of Gaian, and used to equating danger with harshness. Place inhospitable to life surely cannot contain luxury, but here we are.
He laughs a bit. He says, well, you're not wrong. The areas outside the wall will kill you very quickly, but our empire has survived for quite a long time, unaffected by the ravages of the cycles like you all. And we've developed tastes for the finer things, especially those with the money or the pale coin to pay for it. At least those who live outside the bounds of the church's rule. He says, but what brings you all to the Shadowfell, if you don't mind me asking? Not a place one just goes to casually vacation.
Well, not if nobody knows about places like this.
He chuckles, yes. I suppose that's true. It's quite a relaxing place. I do like to spend some time here whenever I can.
But we are strangers in strange land, and previously I had been somewhat cavalier with announcing our presence and our agenda, but here in the city I feel more cautious.
He says, well, it's a wise caution. The upstairs city areas are a bit wary of those who come from outside the Shadowfell. It might even be prudent to have some sort of disguise if you're going to travel on the streets. The priesthood might snatch you up and ask you questions.
Being questioned by priests reminds me of my childhood. But I thank you for your warning. But tell me, please. You seem unusually sociable, although perhaps I simply do not know what it is like in what the culture of the city is like. Is there a particular interest you have in travelers, or were you seeking solitude here tonight?
This is perhaps at first solitude, but I cannot pass up the chance to speak to some off-worlders. It's not every day I see humans and elves, kin I have not seen or met, or do not see or meet often. Because you're a half elf, right, Sim?
Yep.
Yeah. He would notice probably your heritage a bit with your pointy ears. He says, it's, as I said, it's interesting. I would be curious to know more about what you're doing here while I relax myself in the water.
Would you believe I am conducting Holy Crusade?
He says, perhaps. What are you crusading against?
I am uncertain yet, but I do not think I am in fact leading Holy Crusade. That is not quite how that works, and you need rather more people than this.
Nods. He looks over at Reed. Reed, are you Elven?
Half elven.
Half Elven, yeah. So you'd say, and what about you, half brother? Are you with this crowd?
I am. And we are on a visit to this land, and I hope to return to my home as soon as possible.
Are you not enjoying the luxuries of the Shadowfell?
I'm enjoying this luxury, but I'm still very wary. I'm very just new to the land, and I just don't like surprises, I guess.
Okay.
If you wish to speak to the other members of our party, my friend, you might want to wait until we are done bathing. I believe at least two of my companions are rather shy. I'll gesture towards the ones who have waved away their servants or their attendants.
Okay. Yeah, he hasn't really gone to see Anna Kate or Corbin yet.
This is like a communal
It
bathing
seems
room.
like sort of communal for the for this inn/hotel.
Okay, yeah. Then Anna Kate is like being very modest. She's like trying to hide.
Hiding in the steam. Fair enough.
Yeah, she is definitely trying to keep anyone from seeing her.
Okay. So yeah, he would kind of lay back at this point and just relax in the water, calling a bather over to help him out.
What about Klaus? Is Klaus bathing?
Who's Klaus?
The
Klaus is
bugbear?
huge.
Oh, Klaus. Yeah, he's probably him. And Melody's probably bathing too. She's a lot less modest. She's just naked, whatever. And yeah, Klaus is probably just soaked, getting his hair all scrubbed. He's probably like 2 or 3 bathers trying to scrub him off. He's like,
Just wondering, like when you get like the big poofy dog or cat, and then you get him wet,
And
if
just
it like
shakes.
shrinks him down.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's shrinking a little bit as they're scrubbing his fur. So yeah, this while Kinrith, as he identified himself, goes a bit quiet. Corbin, did you see my message?
Yes, I just did. Yeah.
Do you want to
I
do
stay
it?
quiet.
Yeah, you don't think
No.
he's noticed you. You don't know if he remembers you. But
Okay.
it's been a while. I'll say that. So yeah, he kind of sits there. You all finish bathing before he does because he just started. So, do you want to go to your rooms? Do you want to do anything else? Go back to the market?
We haven't been to any of the territory in the city properly held by the Midnight Pyre yet. That's correct? They just sort of paid for our in-stay here?
Well, you're underground right now. You assume
are we?
there's
Okay.
there's no windows anywhere. I just showed the city to kind of have something to, like a map to be on.
Okay.
You'd probably see a map from the city, maybe Civil, so it kind of showed you one of the upground. But he would say that you are currently over here, underneath the ground. So I guess I could put
So,
the
I
token
missed the
there.
thing. Oh, there it is. Oh, okay.
Yeah, in a bunch of underground, basically not ruins, but like old tunnels that were kind of forgotten about that were used a long time ago, and now they've kind of been taken over. They've been used by the Silent Circle for quite a while now as an underground trading area.
Okay. But If anything, I would just assume that this territory is sort of held or overseen by the Silent Circle more than anyone else.
Yes, they're pretty much in control, faction-wise. So
If we
yeah.
does anybody want to go on like a reconnaissance? Like I could cast invisibility, and you could maybe find out where those Shatter Kai were headed, or
So do you want to? Is this like while you're bathing, you're talking, or do you want to speak?
just kind of like whisper it to the other members and see
Okay.
if they want to kind of do some sneaking around.
It might be dangerous. This is not the sort of place that invites too much investigation.
Actually, Anna Kate would love the idea of being invisible right now.
She mentions.
Because I think I could do. Is it 2 or 3 people? I gotta.
Invisibility, you could do like 4, I think, or maybe
Really?
more. It's a 2nd level spell.
Yeah, you can do 4 at 5th level.
Oh wow.
You can
Yeah.
catch a.
Each upcast, you get another person.
That's actually a lot. Yeah, I'm surprised we don't use the invisibility fly combo more often because we have a warlock. Well, we have warlocks who can do that. Pretty nice.
Hey, Mary.
We got a Mary.
Yeah.
Almost a full party now.
Hi guys, sorry, I got off really late and I was hangry and just needed to feel better first.
No
That's
worries.
fun.
Alive?
You are currently in an underground hotel area within the city of New Havasgard. You were teleported down there, and you've been given rest by the group known as the Midnight Pyre. They've given you sanctuary.
Alright. Sounds like we're planning some scouting. Barrow's always up for being sneaky.
So the mysterious elf would look over at Sim and say, you know, and I'm not trying to be too pushy here, but it seems like you all might be some sort of mercenaries, judging by the armor and scars.
We are certainly not unfamiliar with life of violence.
He says, I would say that those with your talents might be a useful, he says, well, I don't know what you're trying to accomplish, but the city often rewards the skills of people with your talents. He says, perhaps if you're interested, I might know someone up top that would want to speak with you. Again, though, this is only a suggestion. I would never... It's none of my business who's down here, and I would never break the code by telling anyone up top about who I've seen in these tunnels.
Unless, of course, someone were to ask you to do so.
He says, well, he seems a little uncomfortable, and he says, for what I do, it requires a lot of trust that I'm even allowed down here. So I know better than to break that trust.
I meant to imply that you were fishing for us to ask you to make us connection, and then you would be able to speak more freely, perhaps, in our mutual
Yes.
interest.
Of course, if that is what you meant, then indeed. Only if asked would I inquire further. He says there are a lot of different factions in this city.
I get that sense.
Yeah, indeed. Being new to this place, it's good to have someone who knows their way around. I don't know how you got down here, but I assume you already know someone who got you in. I might be able to give you a bit of a lay of the land if you're interested.
I am always, of course, happy to hear what you have to say, although I hope you will not be offended if I hear more than I believe.
Is not offended. It doesn't hurt to be cautious with the information one's given. He kind of looks over, squinting, and says, "Is that a kobold?" Oh, Beryl, would you take a bath?
Yeah, she's
Yeah,
probably flapping her wings and splashing a bit.
she's loving it. Would you have let someone help bathe you?
No, probably
All
some
right.
snarls at that suggestion.
So as they try to come to scrub you, you're like, "Arr," and they go, all right, and they just walk away.
She snatches one of the brushes from them and scratches her own back.
Yeah. You, Corvin, and Anna Kate all refuse to be scrubbed. But he just looks at Beryl for a moment and says, huh, quite the interesting group.
Well, ordinary folk do not travel to places like Shadowfell from Gaian.
Yes. I don't think I've even ever seen a kobold before. I've read about them.
Ah, well, in all things, Beryl is not typical, but certainly I believe she is kobold.
Well, I had heard they were quite a bit more savage, although she seems fairly well behaved.
They are not.
As she snarls at another like attendant walking by and snatches some more soap.
Yeah, give me that.
It is tempting to paint with too broad a brush when you speak of a whole race with whom you have no interaction, but
He says, no, it's...
but neither savage nor well behaved seems like correct word for Beryl precisely. She's Beryl.
It's fair. Well, would you be interested in meeting some of the people from the city above?
I would be more interested to hear what you have to say about various factions who might have interest in us.
Give me a persuasion check. Been forgetting to have you roll those. You have a pretty high charisma anyway, so I'm sure you would have been doing pretty well, yeah. He nods and he says, well, there are several major factions present in the markets right now. Lots of smaller ones, but I won't bore you with too many details on them. The ones you probably have to look out for are the ice cream men.
Sorry, is my filtering not shutting that out? I'm sorry. I'll just mute myself for a minute.
It's fine. He says, no, there's
very dangerous faction, the ice cream men.
The ice cream men. They come at you with vanilla cones. No, he says there's
diabetes.
Exactly. He says there's the Silent Circle, which pretty much run the place. They are the overseers of the tunnels. They are the most powerful faction as they kind of keep order and everyone basically agrees to play by their rules. They maintain the market and watch out for troublemakers. There is also the Steel Shadow, which is a very powerful mercenary group that I believe might come from your plane. They've arrived more recently. No one's exactly sure what their purpose here is. Oh,
yeah, we've run into them. Yeah.
No.
Okay. And there is the Midnight Pyre, though they mostly keep to themselves. They have a pretty strong presence, but you most likely wouldn't bump into their people. They usually find you if they want to speak with you. There's also the greater... what are they called? The Greater Vidian Trade Guild, which are mostly higher up merchants that operate in secrecy throughout the empire. You'll see most of them within the marketplaces selling their goods to anyone who will buy them. But those are the main factions that you will run into down here.
Would you happen to know how the Steel Shadow came to be here?
He says, I don't. I know that they showed up more recently, within the last couple of weeks. But I don't know why they're here, what their purpose is. They've been here before. They have factions, or they have cells in different parts of the Empire, but they've never been this far north. And they're more of a rarity. As I said, they operate more within your world than this one.
And you say all of these, they all operate outside of the auspices of the Vidian Empire proper.
Those in the underground, he says there are more political factions up top, mostly members, mostly factions within the church, as well as the Midnight Pyre, who sort of dabble in politics. But those are the below ground ones. Says usually the two worlds don't mix, as the Raven Queen and her priests are not fans of how we do business.
Hmm.
And
That is good to know.
are good.
But that is good to know. But we have pressing business of our own, which leads me to prefer to remain separate from factional considerations to the extent it is possible. But of course, our own concerns require support or allies if we can find them. So that is where it becomes more difficult for.
Says, well,
Knowing as little as we do, it is hard to know even which factions might well be well aligned with our interests.
that would be hard to know, and without knowing your interests, I couldn't tell you. But for now, it was good to meet you, and I've about finished my bath, so I think I'm going to retire for the evening. If you ever wish to speak again or are interested in making some more contacts above ground, I'm usually here a couple of times a week, so you can
That is
find
good
me
to know.
within the baths.
I certainly intend to seek you out if we have more need of your services, or perhaps more to offer you.
All right, a safe evening to you then. He walks, kind of gets dressed again, and walks back to the rooms. At this point, the servants are pretty much done bathing you as well, and they kind of leave the area. As now you're just kind of sitting there soaking. Well, I assume you'd probably change tubs to one of the fresh ones
Yep.
after they bathe you. But yeah, what does the group want to do? Oh, one of the servants does ask, do you all need food for the evening, or have you already eaten?
We have eaten enough, I believe, or I have.
This is excellent. Then we're going to turn in. We're locking up the kitchen. Your rooms are just to the north through there. It should be marked on your keys. So if you need anything else, just come to the front desk area. Otherwise, enjoy your sleep and have a safe night.
Ah,
All right.
He would go.
Yeah, I guess we could all use a long rest, right?
indeed, it would do us all good.
Are we alone now?
Yes, so everyone is left at this point. The bath area is completely devoid except for all of you probably sitting in clean soaking tubs now, more like hot tubs. There are the bathing tubs and the hot tubs, so I assume you've all moved over to the hot tubs.
I'm just relaxing.
Yeah.
I think like first I've said like all night. I'll say
You didn't even know this place exists. You're like, man, maybe I was in
Yeah.
the wrong career. Holy crap. This is great. These underground tubs. But anyway,
one
yeah.
with the
Go ahead.
the one with the red hair. He was or is a guard for the church.
A what for church?
A guard for the
Ah,
church. At least he was.
well, he claims that trust is being extended to him to allow him down here. So maybe he is at least not so thoroughly loyal to church, or at least not so rigid in application as that might suggest.
It's possible.
But as I said, I prefer to avoid being too entangled in affairs of the city if we can avoid it. And I don't know. Right now, it seems as though the Pyre may be able to offer us as much support as we would like. I do not know if everyone agrees. If we need to get more factions behind us, then we will have to earn their loyalty first, or support, and that might take some doing.
As long as tribe can keep looking for shock.
Well,
As long as making friends with one faction, not make tribe enemies of other factions.
I think that is somewhat inevitable in a city like this. Already we are here one day and we have met 2 factions and have heard of 7. I don't know. But Civil seems to believe that our divination is guiding us toward a particular fortress, and it just seems that that is worth exploring, simply, if only to weaken cultist presence in area. But it's dangerous enough that perhaps we should not go alone. I don't know.
Well, as long as we are able to bring Shock home alive, I'm happy to befriend whoever we need to. But I agree with Beryl. We gotta be careful, as helping out one group might anger another. Obviously, we're already kind of in with the Empire, but if we start making friends in other places, it might incur some new enemies as well.
Try to meet people in the city and make acquaintances. Maybe tribe spread word that tribe more likely to take jobs or help faction who can help tribe find tribe friends. Let them come to us if they think they can help us and want our services.
Perhaps, but in a place where even criminals live like this, and Sim gestures around to the tubs, I do not know if attracting the attentions of other factions is likely to do us much good, after all.
What if instead of us trying to set the factions or doing favors for one faction, we simply tried to hire, like, the Steel Shadow or, like, mercenaries? Could we pay them? Like, we have some pale coin and we have thousands of gold coin in Gaian. We could just pay them to, like, help us. That wouldn't cause any kind of conflict with other factions.
That might not be a bad idea, Melody says. I mean, I know you all were extremely well thought of within Char, but the city doesn't know you as well, so gold might be the answer. Though I don't know if this place takes normal gold. It seems like they only take this pale coin, at least from what I've seen in the markets. No one was using gold, it was all the pale coin.
Yeah.
And I don't think we're going to be able to melt down our gold pieces to make the pale coin, unfortunately.
Most of Tribe Teruvian coin is with Daniel anyway, but Tribe has some of different coins. Tribe has some Old World, some Teruvian, some Pale, some Unknown.
We have some gems too, so I mean...
It's true.
Many gems go with Daniel.
I was going to say those might sell, Melody says. Gems.
I am not opposed to seeking to hire mercenaries, but even if we do so without revealing too much of our intentions to the public at large, a city like this, they will notice any group who enters city, hires a large force of mercenaries, and traipses off into wilderness. That is the sort of thing that draws remark.
And what kind of strange city doesn't use coin? How do they know, how do you pay for things if they don't use coin? Melody says, a little confused. She looks over to Corvin. How does anything function if no one buys anything?
Well, they use the pale coins, and it is, at least in the city, much of it is communal. If you do your job, you do not want for anything.
Huh. Strange. Interesting, though. Is that an elven thing? I know I've heard stories that elves often have communities like that where the elves just sort of work together to keep each other safe and keep up the forest communities. It sounds like maybe in the Shadowfell they do something similar.
I suspect here was born out of necessity in dealing with the Shadowfell.
Interesting. See, and she looks to Sim, you said they were all going to be Shadowlord worshiping savages. Looks like that's only a small amount of it.
I said they were all going to be Shadowlords worshipping fanatics, but I was merely operating based on the ones I had met.
Or was that
quite
you,
civilized.
Reed? Someone said it, she says. It might not have been Sim. One of you said it.
But certainly, yes. I thought they would all be evil and bent on destroying us, and that is certainly not what we have found. It seems even
Go ahead.
It seems even the conflict we have found between the church and those who oppose it are not aligned against us by any means.
Yes, I don't believe your specific quest to find your friend in the fortress is necessarily against or for any of these factions. So unless they have, unless there are plants there from the Children of Shadow, odds are telling people of your goals of that probably would not be too terrible.
She says, it sounds like no one really likes the cultists. Might be they're powerful, but they may draw a lot of scorn and ire from the Empire as well as the Underground.
Well, then
I'm turning into a prune here. I think I'm gonna go to bed. But oh gods, was that nice? She says, I think I'm gonna come back in the morning. Hopefully I can get Shock here. He'd love this. So she's gonna get her towel and grab her stuff and head to the rooms.
At this point, Beryl's got a little robe on and like got a towel wrapped around her head like a turban, just because she sees humans do it.
That's strange. Yeah. So yeah, the rest of you, the 5 others, are still in here. Is there anything else you want to do? Do you want to hang out for a while, or you want to go to bed?
Well, I would like to know if anyone has particular interest in courting any one of these factions for support or supplies or assistance. Reed mentioned hiring the Steel Shadow, which we could certainly investigate, I suppose.
So also I'll say that soaking in the tubs, which might actually have some magical qualities to them, have given you all some temporary hit points. Well, I think Sim does that anyway.
It's true, but I can't cover Melody, so...
So you would get 10 if you had 10 or less. 10
I think you only get 9 from me, so...
Oh, well, there you go. It's a one temp HP upgrade.
Yeah.
But go ahead, what do you want to do?
Does anybody have opinions? Corbin? I suspect you might. At the very least, involving more factions from the city might introduce complications for your history with them. I expect you'd prefer we avoided anybody from the surface of the city.
That'd be good for me. At least anybody associated with the church.
It is the church you wish to avoid. Well,
which is probably the most powerful faction in the city.
Well then, so long as we stay down here, or with the factions that work down here, then perhaps we do not have so much to fear for at least exposing you to the members of church.
It seems not.
It would,
real quick, Beryl, the 200 unknown coins are Therian Empire coin.
Oh, is that the Dwarven?
That's the 12 cycle Dwarven.
Nice, thank you. I'll correct the inventory. Nice. And the old world are like old Truvian, or are they Therian as well?
Which one's old world?
The old world was from like the early stuff in like the halls of Tarsus.
Those
and
are mostly Therian, yeah. Those are.
Oh, okay.
Those were the previous empire, yeah.
Okay, nice.
So Therian coin. Sorry, go ahead. Was someone saying something?
No. But at the very least, Sivel seemed to think the Pyre would have information for us, and once we know more, perhaps we know what kind of support we want, and then that will tell us which faction to seek out. So perhaps we wait until meeting with the Pyre in the morning?
Okay.
Alright, so bedtime. You would all go to bed that evening. The knight would... Give me a d20 roll. Pretty safe area, but there's a couple of rolls that might produce something. Definitely not the type of events you'd encounter in the wild, or wilds. So you go to your rooms, you go to bed. As the evening is passing, does anyone have a passive of 17 or over?
Yes.
What's your passive perception?
22?
Alright, so as you're laying in bed, your sensitive ears would awaken you as you hear a bunch of footsteps in a nearby hallway, which you would assume is outside the inn, because you don't think a hallway runs next to your room inside the inn. The wall's pretty thick, but you do think you hear a lot of, you don't know if it's marching, but it's some kind of running, like a bunch of people might be running somewhere.
I'll send my Raven out. Is there, are there like windows to like look out into like the outside Undercity, or is this all?
No, these rooms are enclosed. There's no windows.
Okay.
You would have to. Yeah, there's no real way your Raven could get out there unless you walked it through all the doors.
Yeah, I was just thinking that. Okay. So yeah, I'll just stay there and think about it.
Back to bed.
Yeah, I'll note it.
All right. So nothing else would happen during the evening. It is now the 73rd of autumn at 9 a.m. So go ahead and long rest.
Woo!
So you all feel very relaxed and rested from your soak last night. I assume you go get breakfast. The hotel would actually... Oh, and for your upkeep, you can actually pay for an upkeep, but you'll get an upkeep one level higher than the one you pay for, thanks to the generosity of the Midnight Pyre. So if you do normal, then you're one up. What were they again? Let's see. No, it's not upkeep. It's
I don't eat much. I just pop good berry now and then.
what is that called? It's not upkeep. It's
Lifestyle or
lifestyle. That's it. So you automatically are at modest for free if you pay nothing. But if you want to pay for something, if you want to pay for modest, you get comfortable. If you pay for comfortable, you get wealthy, etc. But yeah, go ahead and do your upkeep with your pale coin. And yeah, what do you want to do in the morning time after your full rest?
If there's no sign of Civil showing up to take us to meet with his superiors,
you don't see Civil yet. You do see the guy you spoke to last night having breakfast in the dining area. He would, yeah, he would invite you all to join him if you want. But you're also welcome to eat by yourselves. So you would have some breakfast, maybe talk to him a little, and towards the end of breakfast, Civil will show up and say, I asked my superiors about your situation. They... Hang on a sec. They told me that there is some things they could offer you. However, they would like your help with something first.
What sort of assistance do they require?
Well, there are rumors that people have been going missing within the city. Not enough to alert the church, but slowly it's getting worse. So far, it's been blamed on just random crime, but the Midnight Pyre believe that they're being abducted by the Children of Shadow. And we believe that they're being taken someplace nearby, but we haven't gotten the information about where yet. So we wanted
What is it with these cultists always collecting people? Do they have so many rituals that require sacrifice?
Says they do have a lot of rituals that require life force. So we believe that they have a cell operating close to the city, and they're taking people in secret. We want you to try to get more information about what's going on, and maybe stop them. And if you do this for us, we would be willing to pay you as well as give you information on the fort.
This is not unaligned with our interests. There is some risk, I suppose, for allowing the cultists to know that the tribe is here, if in fact they can identify us and communicate that we have opposed them in the city. But maybe chance of that is not so high, depending on how this goes. And learning more of how they operate could be useful. What do you all think? I'm not opposed to this trade.
Do you have any leads, sections of the city where people are missing?
Says we do, and actually we had someone go missing very recently. There's also whispers that the Silent Circle might have some information, but we're not on good enough terms for them to just give it to us. And they are not as much enemies with the cultists as we are. But we can definitely give you some place to check out if you have people with skills in investigation.
Errol thinks anything related to cultists maybe help tribe find tribe friends. So
one thing I will suggest, if you do wish to go out into the city, make sure you have some kind of disguise. There are people down here who can help you with that. As you will definitely stick out up in the city if you are not Shadow Kai. Not that you'll be arrested, but if you want to remain incognito, you might want to, keep your identities hidden. He says, if you want to investigate the house of the missing person, I can give you that information. If you want to try to go speak with the Silent Circle, I would say start at the Shadow Market and try to make contacts there with some of their people. I could introduce you to someone, but it might almost be better if they didn't know for sure that your group was with us. Even though they'll probably figure that out sooner or later.
And who is this that you think would be useful to us to know? Or to seek out?
Our contacts? He says, well, if you wanted to, like I said, I could introduce you to a member of the Silent Circle and you could try to get some information out of them. But as I said, I would almost recommend that you just go talk to people within the market. Just to keep your identities hidden.
Keeping identities hidden.
I'll let your group decide how you want to approach this. I've given you several options, so just let me know if you want the introduction. I will be in the hotel area bathing for a bit. I'll let you finish your breakfast. And he gives you a respectful bow and would leave unless someone's saying something.
Nope.
Okay.
Well, where do we go for this disguise that we would put on? Like,
he says, he turns around, he says, there are people within the Shadow Market who you could pay to give you the disguise if you don't have magics already. There's also scrolls you could buy. I believe that disguise self is a fairly common spell that you could probably get off one of the traders in the Shadow Market.
okay.
But yeah, other than that, if you have the ability yourself, I would just say do it yourself. But I don't know what your group's capabilities are. Alright, so he's going to take off, leaving you to decide how you want to approach the task.
If we are doing this task, I can definitely investigate the locations.
All right.
We have, with Beryl and Corvin, we have plenty of ability to investigate places about city without being particularly well noticed, so we should certainly pursue that. I doubt that will be sufficient, so one of these other avenues should perhaps also be followed, although I do not know which.
Why don't we get Beryl and Anna Kate to disguise themselves as a like a mother-daughter combo?
I feel like Beryl has more effective ways of disguise.
Oh yeah, Beryl could just be like a small animal, right?
Yes, but then Beryl cannot talk.
Yeah.
As I said, for merely investigating locations, perhaps it is sufficient. For things requiring conversation, perhaps not so much of this.
Yes, if Beryl just needs to gather information, then Beryl will be sneaky and be small critter. Is magic that would let Beryl talk with Anna Kate while Beryl is animal?
You could probably, I mean, you know that mental communication would probably still work since you have all your mental facilities.
Right, yeah, she's asking if we have that kind of magic available to us right now.
Hmm.
If you got a scroll of telepathic bond, I don't know it.
It is powerful magic, but if we acquired it, we would only need to do so once, since I believe both Reed or I could incorporate that into our own powers.
Have we been out and about in the city yet? Do we even know what the general populace kind of how they dress, or what would blend in and what would stand out?
You've seen what some of the people below wear. You could certainly go buy yourself some clothes that look like the fashion. You would assume the city has similar fashion. Obviously, you don't know for sure. But, I mean...
Well, I mean...
Yeah, go ahead.
Beryl has a bulky traveling cloak that's pretty nondescript that she used to hide her wings in the past. So, I mean, if she kind of pulled her hood up and kind of didn't attract attention, how odd would she look, being short and all covered up?
I mean, being short, she'd look a little bit odd. I mean, you could probably pass yourself off as a kid if you had some kind of disguise on. But
Beryl needs gloves and a mask.
Yeah, you definitely need some kind of mask and gloves, or else someone could easily notice that you have scaly hands and a little bit of a prolonged snout. So.
I don't know, guys. I prefer to stay together, honestly. But Beryl is very, very sneaky, even without Pass Without Trace. So I'm happy to go gather information. And Anna Kate's pretty sneaky, too. And with Pass Without Trace, I think we could go anywhere. But I think we need to make sure that our clothes don't stand out too much, and that we do something to make sure that our races aren't obviously, quickly, easily noticed.
Melody says, well, Corvin already looks the part. Do you have anything that isn't so mysterious, Corvin?
Not on me.
This is maybe some normal clothes for him. But the rest of you stick out like sore thumbs. Especially you, Beryl, no offense.
Yeah, Reed's gonna go to the marketplace and see if he could find just a regular disguise self. Someone to either cast it on him or a scroll.
So the scrolls are probably more expensive. If you just want to hire an arcanist to cast the spell, give me a... So is that what you're doing now?
Yeah, sure.
Alright, give me a persuasion check.
Alright.
Heck yeah.
Okay. So you ask around. You spend about half an hour talking to various people. Do I have a... There it is, just so. In case people haven't seen Melody. Yeah, you spend about a half hour talking to people, and you find someone who's like, oh yeah, I know an arcanist who can help you out. He is willing to cast a first level spell for 25 pale coin.
That lasts an hour?
Yeah. So he can do it on up to 4 individuals.
So Beryl, Reed, Anna Kate, Sim, that's 4, right?
Yeah, and he says, unfortunately, I can only do it for half an hour, but or sorry, an hour. But yeah, it's reliable. Just stay out
Okay.
of anti magic or any type of dispel effects.
Yeah, just very drab, boring kind of outfits. Whatever is most, you know, just typical. Like whatever,
Things that would go unremarked in a wide variety of places.
yeah. Khakis and a polo shirt, Like,
He says, yeah, I got an idea, something nondescript. I can hook you up. Just let me know when you want me to. Do you want me to cast that now?
I guess, yeah, now is good a time as any.
Did the whole group come to the market? Like, did we decide that? I mean, I assume we followed Reed, right?
I mean, I'll wait till we're all in one place to, yeah.
All right. Yeah. So I didn't know if you were all following him, but I'll say that you found this guy. So whenever you want, you can come back and have him cast it. Because you do
Okay.
probably want to get your group if you're all going together.
Yep.
So one other thing, Civil would come to you again and say, if you want to leave the below ground, one of the gatekeepers has to teleport you out. We do have several under our employ, so just let me know when you're ready to go to the surface, and I'll get one of them.
Well, how do we come back if we need to?
He says he'll tell you
Okay.
when you go up. You just have to go to a location. He'll show you where.
All right.
Alright, so is that the plan? You're going to go up and investigate, or do you want to do more at the market first?
I'm ready to investigate. I don't know about anybody else.
Okay.
Let's go.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay. So you
hold it.
go. Go ahead. Sorry.
It might be worth our while to find a scroll in case it takes longer than an hour to do our investigation. It would be a shame to be stuck and revealed.
So do you want to look for a disguise self-spell scroll?
Yeah, I think it would be good to have at least one, unless we super don't want to spend the money.
So there are some. I mean, first level scrolls, while not common, you probably can find someone selling them. Go ahead and give me another persuasion check. Whoever's looking for someone to buy these.
All right. There you go.
Okay. So you do indeed find someone selling low-level scrolls. They have a couple. And he has disguised self scrolls for 50 gold pieces each.
I'm assuming that's pale coin and not gold pieces.
Yeah, sorry, pale coin.
Alright. That seems worth it just to insure ourselves a little bit against dramatic
Are you
failures.
getting just one? Because I think the disguise self is a single target, right?
It is, yeah. So you would need one for each of you.
And only people who can cast it would be able to cast it, right?
Yes.
Because it is disguise self, not disguise other people.
Right, I'm not relying on this
Oh,
for
is it
everyone,
only self?
exactly.
Oh, yeah. So maybe the guy can't cast it on you. Maybe he's going to have to. Maybe he's going to do some kind of disguise on you. Using
Well,
a
when you said he
disguise
could cast it on all of us, I figured it was some sort of illusion, or but I didn't
Yeah,
assume. I didn't think it was disguise self.
I forgot that
Be
disguise
seeming?
self is well, seeming's
Oh
kind
yeah,
of high
seeming.
level. Yeah,
Yeah,
but
it's 5th level, isn't it?
Seemings, yeah, that's you probably aren't going to find anyone able to cast that. So I'll say the guy is. He says he's pretty good at making disguises, and he can set you all up to look like Shatter Kai. Like dye your hair and give you the whole 9 yards.
In that case, I'm less worried.
Yeah. It'll take some time, but he says he would be willing to disguise all of you.
I guess Beryl ends up looking like some sort of deformed child.
Beryl just get a very thick cloak. covering
She
her
already
face.
had that.
Did you have like a mask as well?
No, that's what I said. I said
So,
she's got
yeah,
the
he'll
big frumpy
probably-
cloak. She would need like a mask and gloves.
Yeah, he'd probably just slap a mask and gloves on you. But it'd be the same price. I'll say it's like 25 pale coin each.
He's got
Oh,
good
each?
condition.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, that was skipped the first time. All right.
So yeah, we'll say you realize it's just disguise self is just one person, and you just go get it done to you. So it takes a few, I'll say 2 hours, a half hour for each of you. You're gonna pay him the 100 gold pieces.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I'll take it out of
Alright,
the bag.
So you pay, pale coin. You pay him 100 pale coin. Corvin, how are you gonna change your look, or are you going to?
I'll find some normal clothes, but I'll keep at least a cowl. But I can at least get rid of the raven and all the shamanistic nonsense.
Okay, so yeah, just kind of put your worship clothes in your backpack and get something more normal looking. All right, so yeah, you could just, if you don't have a set of like normal clothes, you could just buy it. I think it's like a silver or a gold, I forget.
Okay.
What is that called? Like laborers' clothes,
Traveler's clothes, common clothes,
Yeah.
and fine
Traveler's
clothes.
clothes. Let's see.
Yeah, I think it's traveler's clothes. That would be fine.
Okay.
All right, so you all get done up pretty well. I'm going to roll for it. Let's see how well you all look. So this guy is going to use his disguise kit. Beryl, you got an 18, so you're looking pretty good. Keep track of your roll here. Reed, you got a 15.
I'm just going to put it in the prolonged effects. I'm just going to write it all in there.
Yeah. Oh, Anna Kate, you got a 28.
Thank you.
You're really,
Ah,
you're looking
You have no
snazzy.
idea who I am.
Yeah, like who is that?
where did Anna Kate go?
Sim up, you got a 25. So Beryl and Reed not as good, but Anna Kate and Sim very disguised.
Couldn't
It
type
was a lot
fast
harder
enough
to
and
work
call
with
myself
Beryl's
something.
snout and claws.
Yeah, he's like, I don't know what to do. I just slap this mask on you. There you go. Yeah, Sim, you could swear that you were born a shadow elf now.
Sorry, could I get the numbers again? I was not typing fast enough to get all of those.
Yeah, it was Beryl, I believe, was 17. Reed was 15.
It was, you said 18 for me.
Was it 18? All right, that's right. 18, 15. I think Anna Kate was 28, and you were 25.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's what I said. Yeah, so you all look very much like Shatter Kai now. And Corbin comes in with his like cargo pants and like his t-shirt, his tank top. Like I'm ready, or whatever traveler's clothes looks like.
It's a graphic tee with like
Yeah, it's got like a raven on it. Okay, so yeah, you all are definitely looking more the parts. I assume you're keeping your armors and weapons on you, or are you gonna hide those as well? Because armor does make you a little bit more conspicuous. You're not sure how many people up top in the city will be wearing armor.
I mean, we're wearing our cloaks over our armor though, right? So they'd have to like.
Yeah, but
mass.
it's people can tell you're wearing armor, like a cloak. Most armors, unless you're wearing like padded, like even leather is gonna make you a lot, as he said, more mass, especially if it's medium armor or bigger.
I'm
Unless
gonna keep mine
Unless you're
because
just
some of my
small.
some of my stealth is dependent on my armor, and she's a funny, bulky, weird-looking little thing already. So
Swole kid, swole barrel with a creepy mask on.
Yeah, I think Sim will ensure that his armor is more covered up and less obvious because it's a distinctive mithril alloy, but he's gonna try to keep it on.
Alright, the other three don't have armor, I don't think, so they have to worry about it, right? Or wait, Corbin, do you have armor?
I have hide.
Okay, so yeah, Corbin might look a little bit weird with his hide, but definitely less conspicuous than you all in your big armors.
I put the Raven graphic tee over it, so
Yeah,
it's a complication.
exactly.
well, studded leather is light, right? So
Yeah,
it's not going to
actually,
be as bulky as.
I think hide is heavy armor.
It's
isn't
medium.
It?
It's
it's
medium.
It's medium.
Technically,
Okay.
it is, but yeah, it's.
It's
All
the
right.
smallest
So
medium
yeah,
armor.
you look a little bit bulky, but you know.
So would Beryl still look bulky even though she's wearing light?
What are you wearing? Leather or studded?
Isn't studded leather light, or am I mistaken there?
It is light, so you'd look a
Okay.
little bit, not too
Okay.
bad.
That's
Medium
fine.
is
I'll go
definitely
with it.
more, but
Yeah.
okay. So are you going to the gate or the gatekeeper, or are you gonna do something else now? You're all disguised.
And we'll head up and get teleported.
Yeah.
All right. So you go to the gatekeeper guy, who nods and says, "All right, I'll bring you up to the city." So he tells you to all stand close. Melody says, "I think I'm going to stay below unless you need me, since I'm not disguised."
I believe it would be wise for you to stay here. You should be safe enough, since you have patronage of affection, and it seems that people try not to make trouble down here.
She says, "Why don't I go ask around about making some contacts with the Silent Circle?" She says, "I can work on that unless you don't want me to."
That would
Can I
be well,
just
I think.
may I just clarify? So this market that we went to is not above ground.
No, everything is below ground. It's like this large cave area. I think you weren't here when I described it.
Right.
It's
Right. Okay.
basically kind of like an open. It's got some like stalagmites and stalactites, but it almost looks like they're kind of, like not decorational, but they were kept there as a part of the aesthetic and to be supports. But yeah, it's a big open cave with a bunch of stalls everywhere.
Gotcha. And the hotel is nearby this
Yeah,
market. Okay.
it's down another tunnel in a more paved area, like a more worked stone area.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. So the gatekeeper is going to start chanting. Once again, there is a rush of magic. Floomp, as you seem to be in some kind of basement. There is a Shatter Kai guard there who nods at the gatekeeper and will, once he appears, kind of pull. Well, it looks like he pulls a rug over where the symbols on the ground were, and you go up the stairs, coming out of a house which again has a couple of guards, probably guards from the Shadow Market, you would guess, looking casual, and they nod at you as you come out into the street, which is crowded with Shatter Kai going to and fro. So you are in the city proper now. What do you want to do?
How do the
Oh,
denizens?
sorry. One quick thing. The gatekeeper would give you a piece of paper with an address. He says this was from Civil, where you want to go to investigate.
Nice. How do the denizens generally look as they move about their business? Do they seem like beat down, dejected, overworked, you know, or like
No.
just a pretty happy, normal people?
Yeah, so they all seem like they have some places to be, but generally fairly relaxed. They don't seem dejected per se or beat down. They just seem
Okay.
like they're busy, going about
Gotcha.
their daily responsibilities within the city. They don't take much note of you as you're all pretty well disguised. A couple of people give you looks as you do seem. Some of them probably notice that you're wearing armor. but no one really asked you or stopped to question you about it. Looking up at the sun, it appears to be probably close to 11 in the morning. What do you want to do?
Go to the house.
All
yeah.
right. So you look at the piece of paper, looking at the streets, making your way over to a small house with several guards in front of it. These look like city guards or possibly church guards. And do you want to approach the house? It looks like they are. You would assume they're posted there to keep people out.
Is there another way into the house?
So there are several windows. You could try to sneak around back, but you don't see other doors. There's also a second story. So it looks like if you climbed up, there could be another way in. But it would, right now the guards are keeping the front door off limits. Unless you want to approach them and say something.
Are there any animals about the streets?
You've seen some insects. You've seen probably a couple of birds here and there. So yeah, there are some.
No dogs, no horses and donkeys and beasts of burden?
Yeah, you've probably seen a few. You've probably seen a horse. They probably do have horses in the Shadowfell. All either very dark or very white horses.
Are the guards just posted right up in front of the front door? There's not like a perimeter around the area?
Right now there isn't. The guards seem kind of bored. They are talking to each other a little bit. They're keeping an eye out on the house, but not the best eye out. Like, it doesn't look like they're expecting anyone to show up here. More just like, if someone comes, though, they'd probably shoo them away, you assume.
Okay. I'll just drop my spider on the ground.
Okay.
Say, somebody should watch me. I will be blind while I am looking through Tima's eyes. And just, like, lean against the wall or something.
Yeah, we're not like standing like right in front like of the guards. We're probably like
No, you're a little bit down the street, I'll say.
We'll just like lean against a wall or something and look inconspicuous.
You turn the corner and you saw them by the house you want to go in, basically. So yeah, you maybe go off to the side, maybe Sim sits down on the side of the street or something.
Yeah.
Alright, so you take over your spider. What are you gonna do? As you're looking through its eyes.
I want to see if I can, crawl up to the building and find a window to go in.
Yeah, so there are windows open. Give me a stealth check with advantage. Because the guards are probably not looking out for a small spider.
Okay. I actually don't have spider's character stats up. I have to find them. Hang on. Spider.
Spider Dex is +2.
Spider Dex.
Oh, I'm sorry. Their stealth is +4. Oh, yeah.
Aha.
Yeah.
Spiders are stealthy. Unless they are not controlled by you, then they just sit on your ceiling and stare at you. Alright, so you can go ahead and roll
hang
again.
on. Oh, yeah. Advantage. I forgot that. Sorry.
Oh, yeah.
Better.
So the spider just kind of casually crawls up the wall and right through a window. You would see when you get inside that it looks like something happened here, as there are several broken. Looks like something was broken, as there are several bits of glass on the ground. Nothing else obvious right away. What do you want to do as a spider? No one seems to be inside the house, as far as you can tell.
I will try trying to keep my voice at a reasonable mutter, despite the fact that I can't hear myself, I will say. I will try to tell you what I am seeing, but shake me if it would be unwise for me to continue speaking. It looks like there is a sign of struggle, something broken in the house at least, and no one in here presently.
So investigation might tell you more.
I will send Tim around to look more.
Okay.
It is low down to ground, so.
The spider starts crawling around the house looking for clues.
This is interesting. Do I have to use the spiders investigate? Because that's not any good.
No, you're the.
I think it's.
You get to
yeah, I think
use
it's
your own
yours.
when you're looking through size. Yeah.
Okay. Well.
Because you kind of tell the spider what to look closer at, and that gives you clues.
Let's give it a shot.
Where you're using his senses, but you're using your own brain.
Yeah.
Oh, lucky.
So you're crawling around. You would definitely notice signs of what might be a struggle that happened. There's some scuff marks on the floor, like someone was maybe trying to fight to get away from someone else, maybe dragged at some point a little bit. Signs of passage, a couple of things broken, as if someone maybe got pushed around and knocked into a few things. That's probably why you see some glass and maybe some like marks on the wall where they bumped into it. Do you want to keep looking?
Yeah, I think the main thing I'm interested in is whether the signs of dragging leave the house at any point, or whether some other form of departure.
Yeah. All right. Give me another investigate check.
Hey.
Oh. So you notice some other clues. One thing strange that you notice is there's a part of the floor that is kind of. Do you have any nature knowledge?
Sure don't.
Do you have? It would probably be nature. Yeah, so you notice some parts of the floor that are damp, as if maybe something was spilled, or for whatever reason, like the floor is just kind of wet here. Yeah, it's a little bit odd to you, but you don't get much out of that without more knowledge to draw from.
And with regards to whether the dragging or other points of departure, anything like that? Nothing obvious?
Well, with a 25, you would notice some chips of stone that looks like they may have come off someone's boot in here. The chips of stone look suspicious to you, again, though, without knowledge nature. You don't know too much about them, but they don't look like the type of stone that would have come from the city.
Okay, I will mention to the tribe, as I'm muttering, I'm trying to see if it would be strange for someone to be kidnapped in a home and dragged out into streets. That does not sound very secretive, so I'm trying to see how they left. But
you don't see signs
I am not finding any particular signs. I see there is stone that certainly looks wrong. It is not what I would expect to see in the house, or even perhaps in the city. And the floor is strangely wet in places, although I do not, unless there is some magic at play, I do not know how that provides point of departure. But certainly someone was taken somehow, and with a struggle, but I do not know where they went.
Corvin, do you have knowledge nature?
No, I have survival.
So you might be able to tell something with survival when he mentions the stones, though you think you would have to go in the house and look at them, or get them out of the house somehow.
Like see them myself?
Yeah, you'd have to see them yourself. Like, you might be able to use those as clues as to, like, the type of stone might tell you where it came from.
Okay. I'll pop out my raven, and I'll send it in.
Oh, there we go. If house is empty, maybe tribe should sneak in and look more.
So how would you get your raven in the
first.
house unnoticed?
Is there? So there's no windows on the second floor, balcony, anything?
So there are some windows. There are a couple on the first floor, but they're sort
Or are
of.
they closed?
Most of them are closed. The open one that the spider went through is sort of near where the guards are. So that's why the spider kind of had to sneak in that way.
Okay.
So yeah, you could try to have it fly in the window. That might be kind of obvious, though. You might be
no.
able to break in through a window yourself if you climbed up there or went around the back quietly. Depending. Yeah.
We go check out the back. Let's go check out the back.
All right.
Tribe want extra sneaky.
You all
There is
sneaking
also,
in?
of course, the aggressive approach. It is perhaps silly, but I could render your raven invisible. Would still have to. There is some chance guards would notice invisible bird flying around, but
If you're willing to, we could try it.
So the one thing to remember is casting a spell in the middle of the street would be very obvious.
it is true. Perhaps we
If we're huddled on the side, if we're huddled on the side of the street, like around each other, like couldn't they like basically body shield the person casting the spell?
There's still noise it would make. Yeah. Magic is kind of distinct, though. You could try to go into an alleyway and do it because there are like little spaces between the houses, and you're less likely to be noticed there.
No reason to resort to spellcraft if other methods are still available. So let us try that first. I will recall the spider because I do not like having her so far away. And
so you poof her back. All right. So yeah, you trying to sneak into the house or?
At least around to the back.
All right. Whoever's going, give me a stealth check. I assume
you shall go.
Yeah, I assume you're not all going. I mean, I guess you could if you all wanted to sneak in. All right, Barrel's tiptoeing.
I mean, Beryl was all set to cast the Pass Without Trace, so everyone could go.
Yeah, all right. So you're all pretty quiet, looking for openings when people aren't watching you. Kind of very quietly and quickly move to the side of the house where the guards aren't looking, or at least the three of you do. So, yeah, you see there is a window back here that's closed. There's also the second floor. The downstairs window, you going to sneak over to it and check it out?
Yeah, I can try to open it.
Alright, so it seems to be locked up as you try to kind of push it open. You might be able to carefully pry it open, but that could break it if you're not careful.
Is there... Anybody, can I thieves' tools? Get
Beryl,
through and...
Beryl pulls out her thieves' tools and hands them over.
Well, it's locked from the inside. It's not like a padlock on the window. It's more like, when you close the window and latch it closed. So you could probably force it open, but it might make noise.
Can I take the hinges off?
Are there other windows?
Yes, there are upstairs windows.
Are the hinges on the outside? I guess that's a better question.
Like the thieves' tools are made to like do all that, right? Like we can like just take off the hinges if need be and get it. Is that possible?
So we went round back, right? So we're not on the side where the guards are?
Yeah, exactly. You're kind of in the back.
Okay. Is there a back door?
There is not a back door that you can see.
Other windows?
There are windows on the second floor. There's a window on the side of the house next to the guards. It would be a little bit riskier, but you could go check that one, or you could climb up. You could, I guess, with the thieves' tools. I don't even know what those windows would look like.
It's got pliers.
Yeah,
scissors,
sure.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Small file.
I'll say, like, maybe with the file, if you're careful, you could, like, pop it through the crack and, like, pop the latch up. So go ahead, give me a thieves' tool check.
Do I remember...
give it a shot.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Do I remember from last session that you're pretty good at this, Corbin?
All right at it. I'm not an expert, but I'm all right.
So
okay.
I rolled high last time. I don't know.
If you're using Barrel's tools, then add +1. They're masterwork.
Oh, great.
Barrel's like, use tools. She pushes her tools at you.
I'll give it a shot.
Okay.
Dex?
Yeah, you
Oh,
use
it-
Dex.
There's no spot to add one. That's a 19.
Alright, so yeah, you very carefully pop the file through, and it's not too hard. You're just trying to not make noise. That's the challenge. But you manage to pop the file through, and the latch is open. So you can kind of pull the windows open outward. And I need a stealth check if you're climbing in.
Sure, I'll go inside.
Oh, okay. She'll wait if you say you're going first.
Okay, so Beryl, you're waiting outside with Anna Kate?
Yeah.
Okay. So Corvin, you very carefully climb in. Looking around, you kind of see a couple of signs of where there may have been a struggle. Give me a perception check if you're looking for those rock flakes.
Perception.
Okay, so you remember the description, you start looking around on the floors, and you do indeed find what you think the spider was talking about. Give me a survival. Oh, 21. So you believe this type of rock is actually is kind of rare to the area. The only place that you know about where this rock might be found is the waterfall. The large waterfall nearby has this rock in plentiful bounty.
Did we go there or just see it?
You saw
Or hear
it.
it? Okay.
It was pretty far off from it was by the side of the lake near the mountains. So you kind of saw the massive waterfall as you were walking around the city. But you've been
Did the
there
whole group
before.
see that, or just Corvin?
Okay.
You all saw it.
Oh, cool.
At least the waterfall,
I
yeah.
don't think you were with the group when they got there. Or maybe you were, I don't know. But anyway, yeah, so you're pretty sure that's where this rock would come from.
Okay. Can I do a quick investigate just to see if there's anything else? And then maybe we'll be done.
Yeah, go ahead and roll an investigation. So
Like,
or go ahead.
Yeah, clues like, cloth things left behind, red herrings, all that kind of fun stuff.
Yeah. So you're looking around. Beryl, you and Anna Kate are waiting outside. Beryl, suddenly as you're standing there, you hear a voice that says, "Oh, you're a kobold, aren't you?" And you realize there's a person standing there next to you and Anna Kate who you didn't even hear walk up.
Oh God.
She says, "Hey, are you?" And she
Are
has a
we
big old
standing
smile.
next to the window, or are we like out?
You look very suspicious. You're both standing next to this open window trying to hide. And she just casually walked over from the street. She must have noticed you as she turned the corner there. And she's completely just talking to you.
So she's pretty sneaky.
And
neither of
she
us
can
have noticed
see-
her approach.
And she can obviously see through Beryl's disguise.
Yeah, you think she saw through your disguise as well.
And is she speaking common?
She is speaking Draconic, actually.
Oh, I don't know what she's saying then.
Yeah, so she just made some strange noises at Beryl, who probably, almost jumped out of her boots.
I will respond. I will say in Elvish, do not mind us. Please have a good day.
She says, "Oh, I don't mind you. I just noticed the small one over here, and I saw a little tail poking out."
Is she still speaking Draconic?
No, she turns to you and speaks in Elven. So apparently she knows both. She says,
Gotcha.
I'm sorry. It is very rude of me. I am Shara Darkmane." And she gives you a polite bow. She says, "I am a druid in these parts. And I was just walking through the city, and I noticed you two standing over here." Is something going on? She kind of looks over towards the
Can you
window.
hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, sorry. I was trying to respond to Draconic, but go ahead. Sounds like you guys already started a conversation.
Oh, what did you want to say? Yeah, so basically she said something to you in Draconic, and then Anna Kate kind of interjected and started talking to her. Do you speak Elven? Beryl?
Beryl does not know.
So yeah, you're not sure what she said to her, but Shara seemed, or this woman seemed kind of like very polite and smiled and said something back to her in the strange language. And are you saying something in Draconic? Oh, did we lose Mary? She might be having audio issues.
Sorry, I was trying to find my languages. Yeah, I don't speak very many. So yeah, no, when she first said something in Draconic, I mean, I would have, I guess, jumped, but then I would have probably been a little too happy to hear the Draconic tongue. So she probably would have said something back in Draconic, like, Beryl has not heard noble tongue in long time.
Alright, so she goes from looking at Anna Kate to looking back at you with a big old smile on her face, and she says, "Oh yes, it is a very noble tongue. I haven't gotten to use it in quite some time. So you are a kobold then?"
Yes, Beryl, dragonkin.
So,
Dragon cousins.
It's wonderful to meet you, little one. And she puts out her hand to... Looks like she thinks she's trying to shake your hand, but she's not sure if that's the right gesture. Do you take her hand and try to shake it, or what do you do?
I will high five it or something. Something different that she doesn't expect that's probably like kobold related or something. I don't know.
Alright, you give her a high five, and she seems a little confused at first, but she then smiles again. So she kind of looks at you, and Anna Kate now looks at the window, and she says, "Is everything all right here? Sorry, I don't mean to intrude. I just got so excited when I saw the little bit of the tail, then I came over here, and now I'm realizing maybe you don't want to be bothered."
Did she switch back to Elven?
She's still speaking in Draconic. So Anna Kate is just looking at her as she goes back and forth in the strange language with you.
Beryl would say, speak human tongue? Speak Gaian tongue?
Or common. So inside, do you speak Draconic or Elven? Corbin?
I speak Elven.
Okay, so you might hear part of this conversation as you're investigating. And she says, "Oh, my apologies in common. Yes, I can speak." And she says, I'm actually surprised you speak common, little one. But if you're all busy, I can leave. I didn't mean to intrude. I was just excited.
Busy? No, just resting. Weary. She like leans against the like nearest wall, trying to look nonchalant and failing probably miserably.
So as that is happening, Beryl...
and Beryl switched to common for that.
Beryl and Anna Kate, what are your passive perceptions?
17.
13.
What did you say, Beryl?
17.
Okay, so Beryl, you definitely hear it first, but you think the footsteps from the front where the guards are coming now around the side of the house, as they may have started to hear this.
Would it be easy for us to move away from the door without going in the direction of the footprints? Like kind of move with them, and so that we can kind of like get back to where we're not against the door and window and looking suspicious, where we're like, I don't know, more in the street or the alley?
I mean, you could just move over the street, but the window's still open.
Someone comes.
You're kind of in the alley now.
Someone comes. Beryl will like gesture to Anna Kate, like, because I think we should move away.
Okay.
So you two just move back to the street.
I'm just gonna kind of like grasp the new person's sleeve. Like, I don't know if she's our friend or not yet, but like so as to not give us away like right now. Like, I'm just gonna kind of pull her with us. Hopefully she'll come with me.
Oh, so she's surprised as you pull on her sleeve. Give me stealth checks. Or
If I notice that, I'll close the window and latch it.
Okay. Give me a stealth check on the inside as well, then.
For real.
Brutal.
Oh yeah, Corbin's like a shadow. So the guard comes walking around. He kind of notices just as Anakate is going back into the street. He says, "Hey, you over there!" Luckily, he does not notice the window being closed or locked, and he comes over towards Anakate. Seeing now Shara and the small one, he says, "What's going on here? What are you doing near the house?"
I'm gonna pull
And a couple of people stop and are looking over now.
I'm gonna pull a handful of marbles out of my pocket and be like, "Very sorry, collecting marbles. They got bumped over here while we played."
Give me a deception check.
That was stupid.
Beautiful.
He gives you a kind of raises his eyebrow a bit. Shara looks at you and she says, yes, I was showing the little one here some plants. I'm an outsider of the city, and I often notice," and she kind of points to the plants near the house, and it's going to make a check for something. And she says, "I just noticed these lovely plants growing here, and I was going to ask the resident if I could maybe pick them. But yes, I'm sorry. Are we disturbing something, sir?" He looks at her and he says, "No, it's just no. The resident is not interested in selling anything or giving you plants. Just get out of here." And she says, "All right, very well." And she would take Beryl's arm and say, "Come, little one, let's go."
Beryl will follow, like, at least as far as, like, the next alley so we can, like, turn the corner but not get far from our friend.
Okay, so you kind of lead her over to where your friends are?
No, I meant that... Oh, you mean... Like, I don't want to get far from Corvin.
Yeah, so... Okay, so kind of just in the street here nearby.
Yeah, like, I mean, like, I'll lead her away, like, as far as, like, around the next corner so that the guards think we've left, but not, like, any further.
Alright, so...
Yeah, I will definitely stay with her.
So the guard kind of keeps an eye on you for a bit as you walk down the street. Then he's going to go back to where he was. Meanwhile, on the inside, Corbin... What did you roll for your investigation? 25?
Yeah.
So you said you had religion?
Yes.
So another thing you notice, there is a bit of incense that is on the floor, which you recognize. Give me a religion check. Yeah, so you definitely recognize it as being something that is used in religious component type casting, often associated with bringing corpses into an undead state. You think maybe someone dropped a bit from their component pouch, maybe by accident.
Okay. Cool. So do we have? Indication of like who was here? Could I learn anything about like the inhabitant or anything that would?
So give me a survival check if you want to learn more about the actual tracks in here. So you believe that 2 people broke in. You think there was a struggle. Someone was probably either knocked unconscious or put to sleep with magic, and then the tracks abruptly end, making you think some sort of magic was used to move all the 2 who attacked and the one who was here to a different location.
Okay.
Maybe a teleportation spell like the one that brought you to the surface. Or some kind of misty step, maybe. Maybe if you look outside, you'll see tracks in the outside of the house somewhere. But it doesn't seem like the people who came in here left the same way. Because the tracks just seem to end.
Okay, then I guess I'll wait for the coast to be clear and I'll leave and relatch it.
Okay.
side if I can.
Give me another stealth check.
Okay. We got this.
Oof.
Maybe.
Oh no,
Yeah,
they don't notice. So yeah, you maybe like get your foot caught a little scraping the windowsill. You curse a little, but no one seems to come. So you just quickly close the window and relatch it.
It was the new chain on my cargo pants. I was used the whole wallet chain.
Chain wallet.
Your wallet.
Yeah, the chain wallet. Yes.
You're going full
Okay.
like emo Raven Queen look. Your wallet
Did
chain
Reed
got
and
stuck.
Sim not come around the the house with us?
I think they stayed at the corner
Yeah, a little
Yep.
further
Okay.
away.
because
So then I guess
they didn't roll stealth checks.
I think unless Anna Kate, indicates that we should do otherwise, I'm gonna lead our new quote unquote friend. I'm gonna kind of take like a block around to come back to the rest of the group without going back where the guard was watching me.
So she whispers in Draconic as you're leading her. What were you two doing over there? Why were the guards at that house? You
Beryl
assume-
respects
Go ahead.
Beryl respects those who speak noble tongue, but Beryl needs new stranger to come and talk with Beryl group, to talk with tribe before Beryl knows what to do.
Oh, yes, of course. I'm only speaking like this because I don't know if you want other people to hear me. And she looks around at the other people in the street walking past.
Beryl will. And everyone speaks common here, right? That's the normal language here, right?
The
Or is it
normal
Elvish?
language is Elvish.
Oh, okay. Well, in that case, I would say in common to Anna Kate, like
But
basically,
that
like
said, most elves do speak common.
okay,
But most people in like Elven is the main language of the Shadowfell. But it's like going to Europe. Like even though like you say French is the main language, a bunch of people do still speak English.
gotcha. Well, Beryl's gonna kind of like tell Anna Kate what was said in Draconic, kind of in a whisper as we move along. But at this point, like Beryl only like reacted as unsuspiciously to this stranger as she did because of the Draconic. She was really excited to hear the Draconic.
Yeah.
But honestly, at this point, she's like, oh my gosh, I don't know. This lady's seen too much. So I'll leave it to Anna Kate to jump in here or to decide if we're doing anything else.
I think Anna Kate's been pretty quiet, right? Kind of keeping an eye out.
Yeah, I mean, she's been speaking Draconic to Beryl, so I have no idea what's been said.
Yeah, you just see them.
When we were in
kinda-
front of the house, Beryl specifically switched back to common so that you would understand.
Yeah, it's just
Okay.
now as she's walking, she spoke. So she'll look back at you, Anna Kate, and say in common, so what were you two doing at that house, and why were the guards there? She kind of lowers her voice, looking around. Anna Kate goes quiet. Do you have
Yeah, I mean,
evidence?
It's
Well,
a
we
mystery.
were,
We're amateur detectives.
Hey, you're not there yet, Reed.
yes,
Oh,
that's absolutely correct.
What?
It's a mystery.
Oh, well, no, Reed's not there yet. You guys are walking back down the street towards the
Okay.
rest of the group.
Maybe Anna Kate just had
Um,
an epiphany and came up with the same explanation.
It's a
We-
mystery.
We were just interested in that house for no particular reason,
All right,
right, Beryl?
She'll accept that for now. She just kind of shrugs. So at this point, I'll say
Hey.
that you,
Pretty flowers,
yeah, pretty flowers.
like the lady said.
So I'll say you all kind of meet up on that street corner again a few minutes later, and this new elf you would see, Shara, is with the others, and she smiles at you all. She says, "You
Either our
must."
friend has just found a much more impressive disguise, or something strange has happened.
She looks at Sim. You spoke common, right?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
So she looks at you and she says, "Oh, what's that accent?"
It is an old one, but not one from near here.
I see.
Beryl, oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
Beryl would kind of whisper hiss to Reed and Sim, like, I'm sure she can hear me, but I'm gonna this one, see Corvin, or no, see Anna Kate and Beryl at open window, while Corvin investigate.
So
But this one speaks Draconic.
actually,
Speaks noble tongue. So that's what she would say to Sim and Reed, so they can just decide how they want to proceed.
so as you say that, she looks at Corvin and she says, "Wait, Corvin, is that you? What are you wearing?"
I'm fitting in.
She arches an eyebrow at you. She says, "I guess. Well, I guess you definitely it fits in better than what you usually wear on the outside." And now you realize you know who this is too. She is a druid who lives on the outskirts of the town. You've actually seen her at your house before, though only once or twice several years ago. She stopped by and noticed your house and came and knocked on the door. She says,
It's good to see you.
Says, yes, it's been a long time. I'm sorry I never came back. I just never had reason to go up to the plains again. Says, how have you
Trust
been?
me, I don't mind.
Yeah, she says, well...
Keep it on.
Yeah, well, I assume you all have business, but I'm sorry, I was just so fascinated to see a kobold. I'd never seen one before.
We are trying to remain as inconspicuous as a group like us can, so while we appreciate your appreciation of Beryl, it would be better to not draw attention to us in your enthusiasm, yes?
Oh, yes, of course. My apologies. Oh, I guess I should be going then. Let you all get back to what you were doing. But it was lovely to see you again, Corvin, and it was amazing to meet you, Beryl. And she smiles and gives you a bit of a pat on the shoulder.
Just out of curiosity, like, is it easy to recognize people's like classes, professions, and stuff like in this world? Like would she be identifiable as a druid if we didn't know that?
Who, Shar? Probably not. I mean, druids sometimes wear certain symbols, but Shar isn't wearing anything that identifies her as a druid.
Okay.
Did she say she was a druid?
You said that Corvin knew this druid from somewhere, but it was not like a spoken in character thing.
Corvin, you mean Corvin?
Well, you mentioned that he knew this druid that lives on the outskirts, or that he met on the outskirts, or whatever it was you said. But it wasn't like something that Beryl overheard. I was just asking whether she was.
Yeah, he knew she was a druid because they had spoken.
Right, I figured. I just was making sure that there wasn't anything that would mean that I would know that. That Beryl would know that.
To you, she just looks like a kind of disheveled, pretty elf lady. Like her hair is a little unkempt, and she's wearing a bunch of... She's actually wearing some hide armor, so something like that might make her a little more conspicuous, because not everyone wears hide armor, especially not Shadowkai. But yeah, she doesn't have anything hard identifying her as a druid. I don't think any of you have knowledge nature, you said, right?
Beryl does, but she wasn't there when you asked for the nature before.
Yeah. So Beryl, actually, with knowledge nature, if you want to make a roll, you might notice something she's wearing that could tip you off.
However, int is not Beryl's.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Well, apparently you recognize some markings on her. Maybe a tattoo on her, like part of her exposed arm, that you see. You recognize her as a moon druid by some tattoos. But anyway, she's
she's walking away as I recognize this.
Yeah, so she's probably gonna walk away unless someone's saying something.
Okay, she's a stranger, and I don't know if we trust her, but Beryl is gonna be kind of excited. She's gonna like tug on Anna Kate's sleeve and be like, "Oh, Beryl thinks this is another druid."
Oh, excuse me, miss?
She stops. She's like, oh, yes?
My friend here believes that you may be a druid. Is that correct?
She says, yes, I am. I live on the outskirts of the city, within the forest, but yes, I have been touched by primal magics, and I do have the powers of a druid. Why do you ask? She says kind of
Well,
nonchalantly as she walks back towards you. A couple of people stare at her for a moment, then just keep walking.
well, you see, my friend is also a druid.
Oh, and she looks to read and kind of is like, this one?
No, no. No, the kobold, the
In
small one.
druidic.
So she gets the biggest surprised look as you say the kobold. She says, "What? Really?" And she seems extremely excited. She says, "What kind of druid?" Now looking at you, Beryl.
Is she like visibly animated and like
Oh
voice
yeah,
like
she
rising
she
excitement?
definitely was like, "What?
Beryl's gonna look around and be like, shh, shh, shh.
Oh, sorry. A kobold
Um,
druid."
Beryl's gonna like kind of look around at the rest of the tribe and be like, tribe needs friends and information.
Oh, I would. Yes,
That is
I'm a
true.
friend. She says, smiling. And I know your friend here, and she points to Corbin. She
She can
says,
be trusted.
I would love to help you. It's so exciting to meet new people. I spend a lot of time on the outskirts, so seeing Corbin and meeting a kobold druid, that's wow. Yes, very exciting. How can I help?
Let us discuss this somewhere where we are not clustered and talking in early.
Oh, yes, of course. I imagine.
If you would come with us, we can find a place to talk, perhaps.
Yes, I imagine making quite the scene. My apologies. She looks around and says, "Yes, lead the way." And we are at 8:40, so we might want to call it here.
Okay.
But yeah, let's do MVP votes, and we'll pick it up next time as the group continues to look into this disappearance or these disappearances. No combat this game.
That hasn't happened in this group in a long time.
Well, you're kind of in a city area right now. So with 4 votes, Corbin, you were MVP. Congrats.
Why, thank you.
Congratulations.
Get
Local
that
guy
I'm
is a real hit.
inspiration point.
I'm an investigator. That's what I do anyways. I like this.
There you go.
She'll investigate.
All
I'll
right.
see you guys next week.
Yeah, I'm taking some notes, but
Good night.
you're all free to take off. Good job, and check you next week.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night.
Are there beasts in the Shadowfell, like that are native to here?
I believe so.
Probably all kind of fucked up though.
Yeah.
Well, as long as they're beasts, though,
Yeah.
like, Shara can show them to me, and I can learn how to see them.
There you go. You go on a beast side quest. Go see all the beasts.
Sorry.
Displacer beasts? But I doubt they're labeled as beasts. Probably
No, those
monstrosities
aren't
or
beasts.
something.
Those are, I think
Yeah,
those
probably
are
all
aberrations.
Yeah, aberrations are monstrosities. Yeah, I don't know. There probably isn't anything up there that isn't a normal beast, just like shadowy. I can't think of any native beasts that are like, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
one of
Can I learn? Sorry.
was
Can
gonna-
I learn? Can I learn a wild shape by watching another druid assume that form? Does that count?
Yes, because you would technically be seeing the beast.
So we could actually teach each other some forms, maybe, even if they're not crazy, unusual Shadowfell forms.
Have you seen a swamp? I've seen a swamp.
Yeah, I mean probably.
It's an alligator.
Yeah, she's like,
This is
what is
my
that?
brother just got home. My brother lives with us, and that was my dog, like, telling him off for coming in the door. I don't know. I assume my mic picked up that barking.
A little bit, yeah. But yeah, you could certainly swap teleport or swap wild shape forms for each other. One of my big problems with the monster manual is they don't have monsters by environment. They haven't done that in a while. They did that back in second edition. It really annoys me they don't have that anymore. Like you can't just
Yeah.
look for the Shadowfell beasts.
Yeah, I've had some druids where I specifically limited their forms to like animals that were sacred to their tribe or their environment where they grew up, they would have encountered or things like that. But like this is actually the first moon druid that I've played that wasn't just 1 or 2 levels multi-class to moon druid that was focused on moon druid. And so it's been fun to use more forms as Beryl, but I'm never sure like, hey, would Beryl have seen this? You know?
Yeah.
If we ever go like to the capital, I'm gonna like go find like the noblemen who have like the menageries or whatever, so I could see all their exotic animals in one place. Oh, hey, Lou, how do you spell that Dwarven Empire of the 12th cycle?
That was the
Therian?
Varian. Was it Varian?
I thought it was Therian,
Therian.
but
Therian.
I don't know if I spelled it right though, in my notes.
I believe it was Therian. Let me see if I have it here. Tharian, Tharian Empire.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure those were recorded right in the for those coins. I had one of the vowels wrong. Also, what is the name of that mountain range that we're exploring right now at the north of Teruvia, that we're exploring in the Tuesday game right now?
That I would have to look up. I don't have that info in this game.
Gotcha, yeah. I mean, it's on the normal maps, isn't it? The Empire map.
So it's hidden.
Oh, gotcha.
It's
Okay, that's
not
fine.
revealed. I don't think it's actually on this map.
I'll check for it tomorrow. That's fine.
Yeah, I can always look it up later, but I don't think I
No,
have it
that's
in
fine.
this game.
Yeah.